Chapter 69:35. Faced with the sympathetic looks of the group of beasts, young Lingfeng only wanted to cry. Previously, he was enslaved by the beasts as a coolie, and now he was acting like a fool in front of the beasts. This was the first time in his life that he was so miserable. Yang Lingfeng could only laugh helplessly. His heart had already broken down. Yang Qinxue pretended to be heartbroken, but in her heart, she was laughing like crazy. Who would save her? The saber-toothed tiger and the rest of the beasts were completely dumbfounded. This was supposed to be their show-off. How did it suddenly become a reunion? Although there seemed to be something wrong, he couldn't figure out what the problem was at the moment. Don't be fooled by them. The long-armed demon ape suddenly stood up and said with a righteous face, "They're not apes at all. They are humans. All of this is just a lie." The saber-toothed tiger and the rest of the beasts looked at the long-armed demon ape strangely. What was going on? Why was this guy suddenly siding with them? There has never been such a species in our ape clan. How could they be apes? The long-armed demon ape looked at the members of the same clan behind him, then looked at the apes beside the saber-toothed tiger. They have never appeared here. Could it be that there is such a species in your clan? The apes all shook their heads. No, we don't have it here either. The long-armed demon ape's eyes were filled with excitement. These guys appeared out of thin air. In order to confuse us and not be discovered by us, they claimed that they were from the ape clan. In fact, they have nothing to do with us at all. They were originally from the other kind. Yang Qinxue and Yang Lingfeng's faces instantly turned ugly. It was not easy for them to stabilize the situation. Many beasts had already believed that they were apes. Now that this guy had stirred up trouble, things became troublesome again. Bailey Hongzhuang looked coldly at the long-armed demon ape. She knew that this guy would take the opportunity to cause trouble. Fortunately, she had already found a way to deal with it. Long-armed demon ape, you want to take my sister for yourself. My sister swore that she would die for it. That's why she ran here. Your true face has already been exposed by me. Now you still want to deny it. How can there be such a shameless guy like you? Bailey Hongzhuang's face was filled with pain. We are indeed a small tribe. Our mother married with another tribe, so our appearance is different. Don't you know this very well? You took advantage of our weak strength and lack of support, so you bullied us even more severely. Yang Lingfeng looked at Bailey Hongzhuang's bitter and hateful expression, his heart. They had not seen each other for a while. What had happened to Hongzhuang? Her acting skills were simply off the charts. Yang Qinxue's expression became very strange. Hongzhuang was really willing to do anything in order to save them. But this fabricated reason was too hard to accept. Sister, you have to cooperate well. Yang Lingfeng transmitted his voice. Whether we can escape from this sea of misery depends on you. Chapter 69:36. Faced with Yang Qinxue's resentful gaze, Bailey Hongzhuang felt a little helpless. In that situation, this was the only reason she could think of. Big baddie. Big baddie. Yang Lingfeng pointed his finger at the long-armed demon ape, his face filled with disgust. It was as if he had just seen his mortal enemy. The demonic beasts who were still in disbelief saw an idiot make such an expression and instantly believed it. How could an idiot know how to act? If all of this wasn't true, how could he say such a thing? Yang Qinxue glanced at Yang Lingfeng indifferently. You're quite good at acting. Yang Lingfeng gave her a look. Sister, it's your turn to act. Yang Qinxue swallowed her saliva and decided to throw caution to the wind. You bastard. I've already left that place. Why are you still haunting me like a ghost? Could it be that you want to force me to death before you're satisfied? The long-armed demon ape didn't expect Bailey Hongzhuang to know how to act, and now there was another one who knew how to act. Don't talk nonsense. I've never even seen you before. You've never seen me before? Yang Qinxue said with hatred. I really hope that I've never seen a beast like you in my entire life. Bailey Hongzhuang rushed forward and hugged Yang Qinxue. Sister, I've recently met a lot of powerful friends. They'll help us. With them around, we won't have to worry about Taisher bullying you anymore. Fox and the rest couldn't stand it any longer. They shot forward like an arrow and stood in front of Bailey Hongzhuang. Long-armed demon ape, a while ago you came here to bully that white fellow, and we found out that you were beaten up. Now it seems that we haven't taught you enough of a lesson. You still dare to cause trouble. Fox stared at the long-armed demon ape with righteous indignation. If I knew that you were so despicable and shameless, I would have killed you earlier. Not only did you think of ways to bully that white fellow and her sister, you're even helping the demonic beasts on the other side of the river. You know that you can't stay here any longer, so you want to betray us. Lion scolded angrily. Rock then regained his senses and said angrily, that's right. You bastard. The group of apes were all dumbfounded at this moment. Even if they had some doubts before, now that they heard the fox say that the long-armed demon ape had been beaten up because it went looking for trouble with the white guy, they had no choice but to believe it. I was wondering why I saw it injured a while ago. When I asked it, it was so secretive and refused to tell me. So this is what happened. Look, this little sister is indeed prettier than her elder sister. No wonder Tai sure wants her. To think that I've been his neighbor for so many years. I really didn't expect him to be such a beast. You really can't judge a beast by its appearance. The long-armed demon ape almost vomited blood when it saw that these fellows were all siding with Bailey Hongzhuang in the blink of an eye. Please, you should at least pay attention to the main point of the matter. How could you be led astray in the blink of an eye? Don't listen to her nonsense. I've never done such a thing. The long-armed devil ape tried its best to defend itself, but the fox said, since the long-armed devil ape favors you so much, I think you might as well accept it. When the saber-toothed tiger heard this, it couldn't remain calm. What kind of joke was this? This kind of despicable and shameless fellow was the one they despised the most, all right? Chapter 69:37. Fox, I'm telling you, don't even think about it. We will never accept such a fellow. That's right. This kind of beast is originally from the south. The long-armed demon ape saw that it was being despised by both sides, and its expression turned extremely ugly. What the F***ck is this? It had clearly never done such a thing, but this accusation seemed to have grown on its head, and it couldn't get rid of it even if it wanted to. It was infuriating. Can you all listen to me for a moment? The long-armed demon ape suddenly shouted. It understood that if it couldn't explain this matter clearly today, it wouldn't even have a place to stay in the future. The sudden roar startled all the beasts, and they all looked towards the long-armed demon ape. Don't you all know what kind of beast I am? The long-armed demon ape looked at its clansmen behind it. I won't say how good I am, but I would never do such a thing. Think carefully about my usual appearance. How can you slander me just because of these fellows' one-sided words? Hearing that, the group of apes then carefully recalled the entire matter. Tai sure actually hasn't done anything too outrageous, and I've never heard of this matter before. I also feel that there's something wrong. Otherwise, Tai sure would have taken the initiative to bring up this matter today. Wouldn't he be looking for trouble? Yang Lingfeng's heart thumped. Not good. I didn't expect this fellow to be so capable. They were originally taking advantage of the chaos to confuse the public, but once these beasts all calmed down, perhaps the situation would be different. Bailey Hongzhuang's brows also furrowed. She understood that they definitely couldn't let the long-armed demon ape explain clearly. As long as they let the long-armed demon ape take the blame today, all the problems would be easily solved. She heard a discordant voice amidst the voices of the long-armed demon apes. In my eyes, Ironstone isn't anything good to begin with. This is just what it's doing. Bailey Hongzhuang's eyes lit up, and in the next moment, she suddenly rushed in front of the water-resisting ape excitedly. I remember you. Back then when my sister was almost bullied. It was you who helped her, right? The water ape was stunned. Bailey Hongzhuang did not give a chance to speak. That's right, it's you. You really are a great hero. If it weren't for you, my sister would have been killed. To be brutally murdered. The corner of Yang Qinchue's mouth twitched. She really didn't want to have such an indescribable relationship with this ape. Yang Lingfeng also rushed over excitedly and grabbed its hand. He said in a daze, Hero, Great hero. Yang Qinxue rolled her eyes. She was really good at acting like a fool. Then, she realized that Hong Zhuang and her silly little brother were winking at her. In the next second, Yang Qinxue also looked like she was about to cry. Thank you, hero. I sob. The water ape didn't expect that it would be called a hero out of nowhere. I fox sighed. I didn't expect the water-taming ape to be so good. I really couldn't tell before. It's all thanks to the water ape. Otherwise, White and the others would have been finished. We're lacking heroes like this. One after another, the water-taming ape was praised to the sky. Even if they didn't know what was going on, but they seemed to be pretty good too. Chapter 69:38. That's right. I was the one who saved them. The water-taming ape stood out, and its expression turned into a brave and fearless one. I've already seen through the long-armed ape's facade. It's actually a despicable, shameless beast that's worse than a beast. The group of demonic beasts who were originally doubtful no longer had any doubts after seeing the water-taming ape confirm everything. The ape clan did not have any understanding of Bailey Hongzhuang and the rest, and were not sure about the entire incident. However, the offspring born from interracial marriages were different, and this was a common occurrence. Otherwise, the species of the ape clan would not have expanded. They knew the long-armed demon ape and the water-taming ape, and the two beasts were often at odds with each other. Everyone was not sure what was going on. Now that the whole thing was put together, everyone understood what was going on. In the past, I was prejudiced against the water-taming ape because of the long-armed demon ape. I didn't expect that I'd been wrong all this time. I'm really ashamed. After admitting everything, the water-taming ape felt a little guilty. After all, it was not the one who did it. At the same time, it was worried that Bailey Hongzhuang and the rest would recognize that it was not the demonic beast who saved them that night. However, after listening to everyone's flattery, the water ape was already blown to the top of the clouds. He almost couldn't tell who he was. That night, I witnessed the long-armed demon ape's beastly behavior with my own eyes. The white guy and the rest were all alone, and their lives were very difficult. If I hadn't happened to pass by, the consequences would have been the water-taming ape looked like it was heartbroken. Although it did not finish its sentence, it gave the group of demonic beasts more room for imagination. The corner of young Lingfeng's lips twitched. Sister, Hongzhuang is really amazing. She found a drama queen just by randomly searching. Yang Qinxue was also in disbelief. She originally thought that it would be too difficult to solve this situation, but after seeing Hongzhuang's actions, she subconsciously cooperated. However, she never thought that the water-taming ape would cooperate with them so well. They did not even need to say anything as the water-taming ape had already spouted out the entire story. That look, it was as if it had really witnessed this matter with its own eyes and had even pulled out its sword to help. Hongzhuang's methods are really amazing. Yang Qinxue couldn't help but sigh. No wonder they had been living such a miserable life recently, while Hongzhuang was doing so well. Obviously, this was the difference. You bastard. The fox jumped out. I didn't expect that not only are you worse than a beast, you're also thinking of betraying us. You're simply too hateful. The long-armed demon ape was already dumbfounded. It didn't understand what had happened. Things had turned out like this for no reason. It even suspected that Bailey Hongzhuang had already colluded with a water ape to frame it. However, during this period of time, Bailey Hongzhuang had never appeared in the ape clan's territory. If it said that it was colluding, the other demonic beasts would immediately refute and think that it was quibbling. If he didn't say anything, wouldn't that be the same as admitting it? In an instant, the long-armed demonic ape turned from red to green, from green to white, and from white to black. It was an extremely colorful scene. Chapter 69:39. The long-armed ape faced the questioning gazes of the beast and opened its mouth. You don't have to say anything. The rock jumped out. Everything has been proven. There's no room for you to deny it. Long-armed demon ape. The fox snorted. Say it. Say it if you have the ability. Long-armed demon ape. The rock. It's useless even if you say it. It's all sophistry. Long-armed demon ape. Damn it, do you want me to say it or not? At this moment, the water ape suddenly stood out and said, "Everyone, can you listen to me for a moment?" The noisy scene suddenly quieted down with the water ape's words. After all, it was a great hero. The long-armed demon ape looked at everyone's different attitude towards it, and the water ape, it was so angry that it almost fainted. It and the water ape had been holding grudges for a long time. This guy was not a great hero at all. But today, it shamelessly took on this title here. It was obviously using it as a stepping stone to become famous. In the future, everyone would think that it was a shameless person when they saw it. But the water ape loved and respected it. It was too infuriating. The long-armed demon ape has always been selfish, arrogant, and supercilious. It has long had the intention to mutate us. If we let it stay in the south, it will only harm us. It's better to chase it out to prevent such things from happening in the future. The water ape's words were full of righteousness. After all, we won't be so lucky every time. Although the white guy's sister managed to avoid a disaster, she has been having a hard time these days. She was even captured by other demon beasts. Once this was said, the beasts could not help but look at the saber-toothed tiger. Their gazes became very complicated. The white guy and the others were forced to leave after being bullied and humiliated. They did not expect that these guys on the other side of the river would treat them as aliens and directly lock them up. Even if they did not know what exactly they experienced during this period, they could roughly guess. The beasts on the north side of the river could not help but feel guilty. They did not expect the real situation to be like this. So, they were not humans at all, but just a branch of the ape clan? I finally understand why when this fool said he was a human, his sister did not deny it. Rather than living under the claws of the long-armed demon ape, it's better to be treated as an alien. They're not strong to begin with. Isn't it easy for the long-armed demon ape to bully them? What do we do now? The beasts on the north side of the river looked at the saber-toothed tiger. They really made a big mistake this time. The saber-toothed tiger's expression was also very ugly. How could it have thought that in the end, it would become a big joke? If you want to chase us out, it's your problem, but we will definitely not accept it. The saber-toothed tiger's attitude was unyielding. These fellows' attitudes were obviously not willing to accept the long-armed demon ape, so it was even more impossible for them to accept. If they really let this guy stay, what would they become? The long-armed demon and demon to the point of its cestes. To kill demon is demon. If it wasn't for this guy, how could it have fallen to the point where it was despised by everyone? Tease. Chapter 6940. Bailey Hongzhuang saw that it was about time and pulled Yang Qinxue and Yang Lingfeng to her side. "Brother, sister, I'm here to take you back. Don't worry, the long-armed demon ape won't dare to cause trouble for us anymore." Yang Qinxue and Yang Lingfeng also quietly moved closer to the monsters on the south side of the river. During this process, they were also testing the attitude of the saber-toothed tiger and the others. If the saber-toothed tiger insisted on not letting them go, things would be a little troublesome. The saber-toothed tiger and the rest of the demonic beasts naturally noticed this as well. Even though they were unwilling to accept this, they did not say anything. The saber-toothed tiger had already said so much. If they still did not relent, wouldn't they become the same as the long-armed demon ape? Bailey Hongzhuang walked to the side of the lion and was completely relieved. Since the other party had tacitly agreed to their actions, there was no need to worry. Yang Qinxue and Yang Lingfeng also heaved a sigh of relief. It was only a distance of 10 meters, but it felt like it was infinitely far. Every step was frightening. The fox's face also revealed a proud smile. Some people even told us to come see the human race with great fanfare so that we could see the world. I didn't expect that they couldn't even tell the difference between humans and apes. How laughable. The saber-toothed tiger was livid with anger, but the ape behind it said, "That's because you have such scum on your side. That's why this happened." The fox's expression changed as well. This was indeed not a very honorable thing to say. In an instant, All the monsters on the north and south side of the river glared at the long-armed demon ape. If it weren't for this guy, how could they have made such a joke of themselves? The long-armed devil ape was already suffering in silence. Even if it did, no other demonic beast would believe it. Yang Lingfeng could not help but look at it and sigh. This guy is really unlucky. I feel a little sorry for it. You're stupid because of it, little brother. Yang Qinxue smiled. Yang Lingfeng rolled his eyes. Sister, I'm really glad that it didn't take you for himself. Yang Qinxue, the matter of the saint's world had already been discussed, and this matter had made both sides unhappy, so they didn't stay for long. They decided to leave as soon as possible. Bailey Hongzhuang was also very happy. Today's performance could be said to be unexpectedly good, but the earlier they left, the safer they would be. However, before she left, she said, I still have an older brother who is wandering outside. If you see him, I hope you can inform me so that our family can reunite sooner. Don't worry, we'll inform you if we see him. The group of demonic beasts nodded their heads. Bailey Hongzhuang and the others' encounter had already aroused everyone's sympathy, so when they heard this request, everyone agreed without hesitation. Only then did Bailey Hongzhuang reveal a comfortable smile. She couldn't help but wonder where Beichen had gone. She had found the Yang siblings, which meant that all four of them were in this plane. She didn't know where Beichen was. You're hungry, right? After crossing the river, Bailey Hongzhuang took out a few fruits and handed them to Yang Qinxue and Yang Qinxue. Try it. Chapter 69:41. As soon as the fruit entered their mouths, the two of them noticed the difference in the fruit. Their eyes widened as they stared at Bailey Hongzhuang in disbelief. Hongzhuang, this fruit. Bailey Hongzhuang smiled. This fruit can increase one's elemental energy. That's right. Yang Lingfeng nodded excitedly. What treasure is this? Where did you get it? Yang Qinxue looked at Yang Lingfeng speechlessly. She said embarrassedly, Hongzhuang, it's such a waste to give this fruit to us. This fruit was simply a heavenly treasure. Not only was the elemental energy it contained very rich, it was also very pure. It was simply something that could only be found by chance. Have you guys not eaten this fruit since you came here? Bailey Hongzhuang asked curiously. This fruit could be seen everywhere in the south of the riverbank. Most of the demonic beasts relied on this to fill their stomachs. Although the north of the riverbank was slightly more barren, it shouldn't be to the extent that they hadn't eaten it before. No, Yang Lingfeng shook his head. Then when you guys were imprisoned by those demonic beasts, they didn't give you anything to eat. No. Bailey Hongzhuang was slightly startled. She thought that although the demonic beasts in the north of the riverbank were a little violent, they were still very kind. They wouldn't go so far as to not give them anything to eat. Now it seemed that she was wrong. That's not it. Yang Qinxue shook her head. When we were first captured, they gave us some fruits to eat. But we didn't know what they wanted to do at that time, so we didn't eat what they gave us. After that, they also didn't give us anything. Yang Lingfeng regained his senses at this moment. Could it be that they gave us fruits at that time? Bailey Hongzhuang nodded slightly. They should have given us fruits like that. Oh my God! Yang Lingfeng wailed. So, I actually missed out on such a treasure? Bailey Hongzhuang smiled faintly, but didn't say anything. She didn't think that these two fellows would have such a miserable life after coming here. In comparison, she was living a very comfortable life. I don't want to live anymore. What a waste. Yang Lingfeng thumped his chest and stamped his feet. This feeling was just like when he had rejected Hongzhuang's medicinal pills. Why did he keep doing things that he regretted so much recently? Yang Qinxue's reaction wasn't as exaggerated as Yang Lingfeng's, but it was obvious that she was depressed. Such a great opportunity was missed just like that. How could it not be a pity? Looking at their gloomy expressions, Bailey Hongzhuang smiled faintly and took out some fruits for them. Open your stomach and eat as much as you want. The two of them stared blankly at the fruit in their hands before looking at the beautiful woman in front of them with some doubt. Is what you said true? Of course. Bailey Hongzhuang chuckled. You guys have been treated as coolies by the demonic beasts for a while now. Life hasn't been easy. When we get back, I'll make some delicious food for you guys. When Fox and the others heard this, they also came over excitedly. "White guy, I wonder if we have a share?" Lion said in all seriousness, "No matter what, we've been of great help today." "Rock, what did you help with?" "I flew them over and back," Lion emphasized. Chapter 69:42. Looking at the anxious Rock, Bailey Hongzhuang chuckled and said, "Don't worry, all of you have a share." Rock was relieved and gave up the idea of fighting with the lion. That's good. "None of you have any news about Beichin?" Bailey Hongzhuang lowered her voice, a complicated look on her face. Yang Qinxue shook her head slightly. "No, we didn't hear any other monster beasts mention seeing a human in the north of the river. They probably didn't find any trace of Beichin. Have you confirmed it here as well?" Bailey Hongzhuang frowned. "During this time, I have been looking for you here. Fox and the others have almost helped me search everywhere, but I didn't see you. This time, I heard that there was news about a human on the other side of the river and guessed that it should be you, so I came here." "I see." Yang Qinxue sighed and said, "Don't worry. With Beichin's strength, he will be fine here." "That's right. Look at how well you're doing here, and look at the two of us." Yang Lingfeng looked at his big sister. Before coming here, she said that she would take good care of Hong Zhuang and the others, but now it seemed that it was Hong Zhuang who was taking care of them. What a slap in the face. "I think Beichin's situation should be similar to yours." The depression of not being able to see Beichin dissipated a little after Yang Lingfeng made such a fuss. Bailey Hongzhuang knew that they were doing this to make her feel relieved. "The other monster beasts have already said that they will help us search. Even if Beichin is on the other side of the river, there will be news about him. Let's go back and wait for the news." This time, the matter had already become so big. Logically speaking, there wouldn't be any demonic beast that would target them again, so they could relax. "That's true." Yang Lingfeng smiled. "I didn't expect these monster beasts to be so simple-minded. Are you trying to show how stupid you are by saying that?" Yang Qinxue suddenly asked. Yang Lingfeng, "Sis, will you die if you don't poke at my sore spot?" Only then did Yang Qinxue regain her composure. "Hong Zhuang, that long-armed demon ape will definitely hold a grudge against us because of this matter. You can't let your guard down. Any one of the demonic beasts was at least at the elementary immortal realm. With their current strength, they were no match for them at all. Don't worry, Fox and the others will take care of this." Bailey Hongzhuang turned to look at Fox. "Don't you think so, Fox?" "White guy, don't worry. I won't let the long-armed demon ape bully you again." "Thank you very much. Why are you being so polite?" Bailey Hongzhuang turned back. Yang Qinxue and Yang Lingfeng's eyes were full of envy. It was obvious that Hong Zhuang had completely integrated with these monster beasts. She didn't even need to do these things herself. At this moment, the three monster beasts saw Bailey Hongzhuang and the others gathered together. The three of them also gathered together. "Lion, do you think White Guy's brother and sister are here? Will they go back to their previous residence?" "Fox, I don't think so. Aren't they going back the way we came?" "Rock, maybe White Guy still has a lot of things there and wants to go back this time to take them." Lion and Fox glare at Rock. "Shut up. You jinx." Chapter 69:43. Rock showed a rare, serious expression. "I'm a rock. Crows are small birds. We're not even the same race." "Fox, Lion, don't think that you can just keep quiet. I'm going to explain everything to you today," Rock said with a serious expression. It looked like he wouldn't stop until he explained everything to them. All right. Fox patted Rock's shoulder. "We know you're not a crow, all right? Then why did you call me a crow?" Fox turned around. He didn't want to talk to this guy anymore. Otherwise, he would die from anger. Lion looked at Rock silently. "Brains are good things." "Brains are good things?" Rock was confused. "What do you mean?" Because the Rock's movements were too loud, even Yang Qinxue and Yang Qinxue's attention was attracted. They didn't hear the first part of the conversation, only the second part. Their heads were suddenly filled with doubts. Hong Zhuang, Bailey Hongzhuang's lips twitched. Although these three guys don't have brains, Fox and Lion are still better than Rock. Yang Qinxue nodded. "I can see that." Yang Lingfeng, "Me too." Compared to the anxiety they felt when they came, the journey back was more like a sightseeing tour. Fox and Fox knew that Bailey Hongzhuang hadn't seen these things before. They were in a hurry when they left, so they didn't have much time to stay. Naturally, it was much more convenient for them to return. When they arrived at the Sea of Flowers, Fox said, "White guy, don't you like the scenery here? Why don't you stay here for a few days?" Bailey Hongzhuang looked at the scenery nearby. Then, she looked at Yang Qinxue and Fox. "What do you think?" Yang Qinxue was already conquered by the beautiful scenery in front of her. Everything here was so beautiful that it was like a painting. The scenery in the chaotic immortal realm was not bad. Many places were very beautiful. However, none of them could be compared to this place. Pure and clean, the azure sky was untainted by even a speck of dust, and the white clouds seemed to be within reach. The alluring fragrance of flowers mixed with the faint smell of grass spread through the nose, making one feel relaxed and happy. In such an environment, it was as if all the noise and annoyance would disappear, leaving only the original heart. I really didn't expect there to be such a place in this world. Yang Qinxue sighed from the bottom of her heart. This place was a pure land, a paradise. The chaotic immortal realm was too chaotic, and all kinds of things were too troublesome. However, this was a place where all the troubles disappeared. "Can we stay here for a few days?" Bailey Hongzhuang asked. "Okay." Yang Qinxue nodded without hesitation. Even Yang Lingfeng was very happy. "I'm willing to live in such a place forever." The three demonic beasts were also very happy to see this scene. The fox proudly raised its eyebrows. Their battle goal could be considered to be half completed. "How is it? Is this a good idea?" the fox said with a smile. The lion nodded. "Let's do it. We can't let White Guy and the others leave." Chapter 69:44. The fox and lion were stunned when they heard the rock's words. Both of them stared at it. "Why are you looking at me like that?" The rock felt a little guilty. "Idiot, you don't usually give us any useful suggestions. I didn't expect you to give us such a good suggestion." The fox patted the rock's head excitedly. They had been worried that the white guy and the others would return to where they came from. After all, the white guy and the others were from a branch of the ape clan. There was quite a distance between where they lived and where the apes lived. Now that they thought about it, they could just move with the white guy. After all, it didn't matter where they lived. We don't have to worry anymore." The lion heaved a sigh of relief. The huge rock that had been hanging in its heart for the past 2 days was finally lifted. After living near the Sea of Flowers for a few days, Yang Qinxue and Yang Lingfeng recovered from their fear of the demonic beasts. Back then, the two of them wanted to leave this place as soon as possible. The demonic beasts were just too strong. There was no way for them to survive. However, after following Hongzhuang for a few days and witnessing the transformation of an enemy into an ally, they felt that this place was incomparably safe. This place is amazing. The food here can actually increase one's origin energy. If the other people in the realm of chaotic immortal found out about this, I'm afraid countless people would want to break into this random secret realm. Even though Yang Lingfeng had been here for a while, he still found it hard to believe that such a magical place existed in this world. Compared to the realm of chaotic immortal, where people try to cheat each other and snatch cultivation resources, this place was simply too beautiful. Bailey Hongzhuang couldn't help but frown when she heard that. After witnessing the beauty of this place, she really didn't want anyone to come and destroy it. She had never doubted the abilities of the human race. If everyone knew that such a place existed, even the cultivators from the realm of chaotic immortal would be attracted to it, let alone the realm of chaotic immortal. At that time, the destruction that would occur would be. This is a random secret realm. Even if they entered, they might not be able to reach this place. Yang Qinxue noticed the change in Bailey Hongzhuang's expression and understood her worries. After all, she could feel that Hongzhuang and the three demonic beasts had a very good relationship. These three fellows were obviously very strong, but they had always followed Hongzhuang's lead. Even she felt that it was very interesting. No one would want to hurt such a pure friend. Do many people know about this random secret realm? Bailey Hongzhuang looked at the two of them. The location of this mystic realm was inside Qingyang City. Perhaps the city lord would have a solution. This secret realm has been around for quite some time. However, according to the information that has been spread out, the possibility of random teleportation is too high. I have never heard of this place before. Yang Qinxue said seriously, according to my father's judgment, this entrance faces many planes, so no one can choose a plane to enter. You don't have to worry about it for now. Chapter 69:45. A few days later, Bailey Hongzhuang and the rest finally set off for their original residence. Yang Qinxue and Yang Feng looked at the cave abode in front of them, their faces filled with shock. Hongzhuang, I didn't expect you to have your own cave abode after staying here for a while. Fox and the rest helped me make this. Bailey Hongzhuang smiled and said. Being called out, the three demon beasts smiled foolishly. Bai Yin, you've been living quite comfortably here before, haven't you? Bai Yin? Bailey Hongzhuang nodded. Living here is indeed very comfortable. It's all thanks to your help. Hee hee, you're welcome. Yang Qinxue and Yang Feng looked at each other. These three fellows were so stupid that they were adorable. Bailey Hongzhuang looked at the three of them stuttering, as if they wanted to say something, but didn't. She couldn't help but furrow her beautiful brows. You've been whispering to each other for the past few days. Is there something going on? No. The three demon beasts waved their hands in unison, their expressions clearly showing that they didn't mean what they said. You're not going to say anything? Bailey Hongzhuang raised her brows. Then you'll have to find your own food in the future. Don't. The three demon beasts panicked. Rock hurriedly said, Bai Yin, we were just thinking that if you wanted to move away, we'd go with you. Fox, Lion, Yang Qinxue, and Yang Lingfeng. That was quick. Move away? Why would I move away? Bailey Hongzhuang asked in confusion. You stayed here because you couldn't find your brother and sister. We were worried that you might leave after you found them. Fox sighed and told the truth. At this moment, Bailey Hongzhuang finally understood. So this was what the three of them had been whispering to each other all this time. She found it funny and at the same time, touched. Don't worry, I have no plans to move back now. Upon hearing this, Lion heaved a sigh of relief. That's good. I knew it. It's good that you're staying with us. No one will bully you. Bailey Hongzhuang smiled. Yes, that's right. I'll have to rely on you to take care of me. At this time, the rock suddenly said, White guy, if you don't plan to move now, do you plan to move in the future? Bailey Hongzhuang was stunned. This guy usually didn't catch the main point when he spoke. She didn't expect him to notice this time. Fox also turned his gaze. White guy, is what Rock said true? I was just saying it casually. Bailey Hongzhuang was a little guilty. The environment where we originally lived is not as good as here. Besides, the long-armed demon ape used to live in that area. We don't want to go back at all. The fox stared at Bailey Hongzhuang for a moment. The latter even thought that her words had been exposed. The fox turned his eyes away, his face full of pride as he said, I said, what's so good about the ape tribe's place? That group of guys doesn't look cute. How can it be better than us? That's right. Bailey Hongzhuang agreed. I don't want to go to those guys' place at all. Hee, that's good. After hearing this, the three demon beasts were very happy. With no worries, they began to return to their original appearance and even continue to do business. Chapter 69:46. Hongzhuang, what's going on? Yang Lingfeng looked at the demonic beasts carrying various kinds of birds and beasts over. Moreover, their faces were full of smiles, as if they were afraid that Hongzhuang would reject them. There was actually such a thing. Looks like I've underestimated you. You're practically the king of this mountain. I thought you'd at most become friends with these demonic beasts. I didn't expect you to have a group of demonic beast underlings. Yang Lingfeng's face was full of envy. It was as if he was completely immersed in his own fantasy. A group of demonic beast underlings that were even stronger than the elementary immortal realm. This was simply the pinnacle of life. Bailey Hongzhuang saw that this fellow was getting more and more ridiculous. She couldn't help but shake her head and say, You're thinking too much. I'm just helping to cook. Hearing this, Yang Lingfeng was stunned and said in astonishment, Cook? Why did you change your profession to become a chef? Do you know how difficult it is to obtain these ingredients? Bailey Hongzhuang raised her eyebrows. The birds and beasts here were not weak, and they ran very fast. Even if the fox and the rest went out to hunt, they could only catch a limited number of them each day. However, on the other hand, the increase in origin power was also more abundant, so she was very happy to cook. Even so, it doesn't suit your status as the king of this mountain. Yang Lingfeng sighed. I'll help them to make dishes, and I can still keep some for myself. Bailey Hongzhuang's lips curled. If you don't like it, then don't eat it when it's done. Yang Lingfeng's expression suddenly changed. I was talking nonsense just now. Being a chef for demonic beasts depends on whether you have the ability or not. Look at me. I can't even do it if I want to. Yang Lingfeng was thick-skinned, completely forgetting his previous look of disdain. Bailey Hongzhuang. This fellow had completely given up on his face recently. Yang Qinxue shook her head. She didn't want to talk to this fellow anymore. Ever since he was captured by demonic beasts, this fellow had become more and more shameless. It was simply embarrassing. Hongzhuang, there are so many ingredients. Let me help you. Bailey Hongzhuang smiled. All right. She hadn't been back for a few days, and these demonic beasts had gathered a lot of ingredients. She had to cook a lot today. Yang Qinxue handed some of the ingredients to Yang Lingfeng. Here, don't just sit here. Go and prepare them. Me? Yang Lingfeng pointed at himself. Sis, I've never done such a thing before. You've never done it before, but do you think we've done it before? Yang Qinxue had already made up her mind. All right. Yang Lingfeng felt that his sister's words made sense. In order to thank Hongzhuang for saving my life, leave the plucking to me. Bailey Hongzhuang nodded her head in satisfaction. At least you still have a little bit of gratitude. After a while, Yang Lingfeng returned with a head full of feathers. He was also holding the processed ingredients in his hands. I've already taken care of it. Ache. Yang Lingfeng sneezed. It had only been a short while, but he already felt that there were countless feathers flying around him. Yang Qinxue was dumbfounded when she saw Yang Lingfeng's appearance. Not only did he have feathers stuck to his hair, but his body was also pitch black and messy. Lingfeng, where did you go? Chapter 69:47. Xiao Hei covered her eyes. The scene of Yang Lingfeng plucking the feathers was simply unbearable to look at. This method simply couldn't compare to it. I think you should just forget about it. Yang Qinxue shook her head. This posture was simply more exaggerated than a fight. Yang Lingfeng was very insistent. That won't do. I said I'll do this, so I'll do it. No one is to snatch it from me. Then I'll leave it all to you. Bailey Hongzhuang chuckled. Since you've already become like this, once you're done, let the fox bring you to the river to take a bath. You should be able to eat it when you come back. All right. Yang Lingfeng's eyes lit up. A dish that could make these demonic beasts look forward to it must taste very good. In fact, this was the case. After Yang Lingfeng tasted the dish once, he had already taken on the task of plucking all the feathers. Whoever dared to snatch it from him, he would get angry because only in this way could he eat with a clear conscience. Ever since Bailey Hongzhuang returned, she had been waiting for news about Beichen. Now that the demonic beasts on both sides of the river knew of their existence, they would no longer treat them as an alien race. Therefore, as long as they found Beichen, this news would definitely spread to their ears very quickly. However, as time passed, and they didn't hear any news about Beichen, everyone fell into helplessness. Hongzhuang, don't think too much. I think Beichen will definitely be fine. Yang Qinxue noticed that as time passed, Hongzhuang's worry grew stronger. Actually, I think we might have overlooked a place. Yang Lingfeng saw that the atmosphere was a little gloomy and suddenly said, What place? Look, this entire world doesn't only consist of the two sides of the river. Isn't there another place that we know of? Hearing this, Bailey Hongzhuang understood. You're talking about the Holy Realm? That's right. Yang Lingfeng nodded. Although the fox and the others said that the passage to the Holy Realm only opens once in many years, and ordinary demonic beasts can't pass through it all, we're different. We were randomly teleported here, so Beichen might have been randomly teleported to the Saint's world. Bailey Hongzhuang sank into her thoughts. She had originally considered this possibility as well, but she felt that it was a little too unlikely. After all, so many demonic beasts have been trying their best to enter the Saint's world, but to no avail. If Beichen had directly gone to the saint's world. Hongzhuang. Although Ling Feng's words are usually unreliable, I think what he said today makes sense. Sis, why are my words so unreliable? Yang Qinxue glanced at him. Don't you know? Not sure. With Beichen's strength, he should have found us long ago if he appeared on the banks of the river. The only possibility right now is that he's in the saint's world, which is why we can't find him and he can't find us. Bailey Hongzhuang nodded slightly. There was less than a year until the passage to the saint's world opened. If Beichen really was there, then they would be able to meet him soon. I heard the fox say that the demonic beasts in the saint's world are much stronger than the outside world. I wonder if Beichen will be in danger if he goes there. Bailey Hongzhuang frowned slightly. She couldn't help but worry. If the demonic beasts in the saint's world weren't so gullible, then things would be troublesome. Chapter 69:48. In the following days, the three of them began to cultivate. Bailey Hongzhuang had already handed the task of cooking to Yang Qinxue and Yang Lingfeng every day. Yang Lingfeng was now able to handle the ingredients with ease, and no one could compare to him. Yang Qinxue's culinary skills had also been taught by Hongzhuang. She was already very smart, and after practicing for a while under Hongzhuang's guidance, she was able to cook on her own. Bailey Hongzhuang was also happy and relaxed about this. She and Xiao He would still occasionally help the demonic beasts make clothes. After all, demonic beasts were bestial creatures, and there was a high possibility that they would tear their clothes. Therefore, every once in a while, demonic beasts would come to ask for help to make another one. After a few months, Xiao He had also developed a good craftsmanship. Master, these clothes of yours are very beautiful. Xiao He looked at the clothes in Bailey Hongzhuang's hands. Recently, the clothes that the demonic beasts needed were basically made by her. There was nothing that her master needed to do. Who are these clothes for? Bailey Hongzhuang smiled slightly and raised the half-made clothes in her hands. Xiao He recognized them at a glance. These are for the fox. Yes. Bailey Hongzhuang nodded. Foxes love beauty the most. Their clothes have to be made to look better. Not to mention other things, as more and more clothes were made, her craftsmanship was really getting better and better. In the past, she only needed to make clothes that could be worn. Now, she could actually design her own style. Master, didn't you already make a set for them before? Xiao He was a little confused. Master made a new set for them some time ago. At that time, the three of them were very happy. Bailey Hongzhuang's expression became complicated. Once we go to the Holy Realm, we should be able to find Beichen. Whether Beichen is willing or not, we won't be staying here for too long. Since foxes like to wear these clothes so much, I have to make more of them, but they don't want to learn. After spending some time together, she was almost used to having the three of them by her side. Usually, whenever they saw something interesting, these three fellows would almost immediately run to her to show off their treasures. She might as well give them some interesting things. Basically, every time she took out something, these fellows would take it out to show off. It's good to make more. Yang Qinxue also walked over. Although they like bright red the most, I think it's not bad to try other colors. Bailey Hongzhuang glanced at Yang Qinxue and found a trace of reluctance in the latter's eyes. She was surprised, but at the same time, she understood. Recently, Yang Qinxue had also become familiar with the three demon beasts. As for Yang Lingfeng, he had become one of the three demon beasts. They had almost become four brothers. Not only that, this fellow even went to ask other demonic beasts about the secret of breaking through to the elementary immortal stage. However, the demonic beasts' answers almost depressed him to death. This was because they did not find it difficult at all. They only felt that they could break through by eating. Yang Lingfeng asked around and found that everyone's situation was similar. He was completely speechless. In the end, he placed all his hopes on eating. Now, if there was anyone who could eat more than Xiao He, it would undoubtedly be Yang Lingfeng. Chapter 69:49. I feel that if I continue to stay here, I'll have a high chance of breaking through to the elementary celestial stage. Yang Lingfeng's face was filled with excitement. He had been stuck at the radiant sun stage for many years. All these years, he had been trying his best to raise his cultivation level. He had also tried his best to obtain all kinds of pills that could help him break through. However, he had not been able to break through. Ever since Hong Zhuang had given him a pill during the Formation Master competition, he had been filled with confidence. He wanted to use these few years to try to break through again. Even so, he knew that the chances were slim. However, he had only stayed here for a few months, and he felt that his strength had improved by quite a bit. The elemental energy that filled this fruit was too pure. Under the injection of this elemental energy, his elemental energy seemed to have undergone a qualitative upgrade. The overall feeling was different. Looking at Yang Lingfeng's excited expression, Yang Qinxue nodded in agreement. This is indeed a great place for cultivation. Bailey Hongzhuang smiled. I heard that the origin energy in the holy world is even denser. Who knows? Maybe Beichun has already broken through to the elementary celestial stage. When he was in the comprehension tablets, Di Beichun had already touched the barrier to breaking through. If he was really in the holy world, he might really have a chance to break through. Yang Lingfeng, who was originally very excited, became a little discouraged when he heard this. That's possible. Beichun has only been in the Radiant Sun stage for a short while. If he broke through to the elementary celestial stage, it would be too much of a blow to him. Beichun is better than you in terms of strength, talent, and luck. Yang Qinxue glanced at Yang Lingfeng and said, all these years, there has never been news of a comprehension tablet that can increase a cultivator's cultivation level. However, I heard that after Beichun's incident, the competition for a spot to enter the comprehension tablet has become even more intense. As expected, Yang Lingfeng was not surprised. It's a pity that I'm not a formation master. Otherwise, I want to fight for a spot. All right, maybe some people can't break through, so they might as well take this opportunity to learn formation masters. That crazy? Bailey Hongzhuang was surprised. Isn't that so? You have no idea how many people in the chaotic immortal realm are willing to risk everything just to make a breakthrough. Yang Lingfeng was already used to it. How many cultivators had lost their lives in order to break through? Compared to learning array techniques, it was really nothing. At this moment, Yang Lingfeng suddenly laughed mischievously. Do you think Beichun will be as unlucky as me? What if he is treated as a foreign race by those demon beasts in the holy world? What if he is reduced to a coolie? As soon as he said that, Bailey Hongzhuang and Yang Qinxue just looked at him quietly without saying anything. Why are you looking at me like that? It's not impossible, Yang Lingfeng said seriously. Beichun doesn't know how to sew or cook. Do you think Beichun is like you? Yang Qinxue rolled her eyes in disgust. Yang Lingfeng said, Sister, don't forget that you and I were captured to be laborers. Yang Qinxue, at least I have some sense of shame. Unlike you, Yang Lingfeng. Me? What's wrong with me? Yang Qinxue, shut up. You have the nerve to say that. Bailey Hongzhuang thought for a moment and finally decided to call the three demonic beasts over. Chapter 6950. Fox, have you been to the holy world before? Yes, we have. Then do you know what the demonic beasts in the holy world are like? Are they similar to you? Bailey Hongzhuang's expression was serious. This was her main focus. The fox thought for a moment, then looked at the lion and rock. They're similar, right? There's no difference. Those guys are just a little stronger than us and a little more arrogant. Other than that, there's no difference. The lion nodded. What if they're smarter than us? The fox stood up. If we're talking about smarts, then of course I'm the smartest. Yang Lingfeng. I knew you'd say that. Are you sure? Of course. Bailey Hongzhuang's lips gradually curled up. If the demonic beasts in the holy world were like that, then she believed that Beichun wouldn't be in danger there. In the blink of an eye, a year's time was almost up. In the past few days, Bailey Hongzhuang clearly felt that the surrounding demonic beasts had become much more active. They were all beaming with joy, obviously waiting to set off for the holy world. Fox, when are we setting off for the holy world? Yang Lingfeng moved closer to the fox, looking more excited than the other demonic beasts. We should set off in 3 days. That's the day we agreed to set off with the demonic beasts on the other side of the river. Do we need to prepare anything? Will the journey be dangerous? Yang Lingfeng asked. The fox shook its head. It's hard to say. I've only been to the holy world once. It's said that the situation is different every year, so there's no need to prepare. Just do whatever you want. Is that really okay? Yang Lingfeng's lips twitched. Because they didn't know what they would encounter, they didn't prepare anything. That was really impressive. Of course it's okay. The fox looked serious, then turned to the lion beside it. Am I right? Very right. The lion nodded. We don't know what it's like anyway, so why waste time? Rock also came over. What do you think we should bring along for the journey? There wasn't much food on the riverbank. The fox and the lion's eyes lit up. They immediately ran back to their residence and began to think about what they should bring. Yang Lingfeng looked at the three fellows who had disappeared in the blink of an eye and couldn't help but ask, "Is it really reliable to trust them?" "It should be reliable." Bailey Hongzhuang nodded. "Why?" Yang Lingfeng didn't understand. Think about it. Even Fox and the others were able to enter the saint's world before. That means the path there shouldn't be too difficult. Yang Lingfeng was stunned for a moment before a look of understanding appeared on his face. "You're still the best. I actually didn't think of this." 3 days later, Bailey Hongzhuang and the others were ready to set out. However, they found that the three fellows were still in the cave. They couldn't help but walk over. Just as they walked out of the door, they heard the sound of an argument coming from inside. "Bring this." "No, I think it's better to bring this. It tastes better." "Of course I'll bring this. This is the best." As they walked in, they saw three demonic beasts arguing over what fruit to bring. "It's time. We should head out," Yang Qinxue reminded. Chapter 69-51. Hongzhuang, hurry up and stop them. Yang Qinxue hurriedly looked towards Bailey Hongzhuang. She had seen the three of them quarreling endlessly. If they were allowed to continue quarreling like this, who knew when they would be able to set off today? It's useless to say anything now. This is a matter of status. Rock said seriously. Bailey Hongzhuang, Yang Qinxue, and Yang Lingfeng. You really dare to say that? Since when did you have status? Just as the three demon beasts were chattering endlessly, Bailey Hongzhuang suddenly kept all the food in front of her. The three demon beasts saw the food suddenly disappear and were stunned. "And where did the food go? White guy, where did you put it?" "It's gone. Now you don't have to fight anymore." The three demon beasts were stunned. Then they cried out sorrowfully. Seeing this, Bailey Hongzhuang found it very funny. Then she placed a chinquin pouch in front of the three demon beasts. "I'll give you this precious pouch. In the future, you don't have to fight over this when you go out." Zero regarding the chinquin pouch. She had wanted to give it to the three demon beasts for a long time. However, she didn't know how to explain the origin of the chinquin pouch. As the time they spent together grew longer, the worry in her heart gradually lessened. In addition, the three demon beasts would fight for half a day every time they went out. With the chinquin pouch, these problems were easily solved. The three demon beasts stared at the chinquin pouch in front of them in confusion. "Precious pouch? White guy, don't lie to us. Doesn't this thing look like a cloth pouch?" Looking at the three demon beasts' suspicious faces, Bailey Hongzhuang raised her eyebrows. "Do you want it? If not, then forget it." Don't, of course I want it since it's a free gift." The fox quickly snatched it over. "Bailey Hongzhuang, you're so straightforward." The fox looked at the cloth pouch in its eyes. When it realized that the pouch had the space of a house, it was stunned. "Oh my God, there's actually such a bag in this world. This is too amazing." Lion and Rock also came over. "What happened? What's so special about this bag?" After understanding the functions of the bag one by one, the eyes of the three demonic beasts were already twinkling with little stars. They looked at Bailey Hongzhuang with eyes full of worship. "White guy, you're a genius. How did you get this thing?" "I got it by chance," Bailey Hongzhuang said slowly. Yang Lingfeng, this excuse of yours is too careless. However, when the three demonic beasts heard this, they did not doubt it at all. Instead, they were pleasantly surprised and said, "This white guy is indeed extraordinary. Even the things he obtained by chance are so powerful." The white guy has always been gifted. I've noticed this long ago. That's right. That's it. The corners of Yang Lingfeng's mouth twitched. As three demonic beasts at the elementary celestial stage, is it really okay for you to worship him so blindly? Is this pouch really for us? Bailey Hongzhuang turned her head and saw three pairs of eyes twinkling with little stars. She had to admit that when these three demonic beasts acted cute, it was quite lethal. Chapter 69:52. The three demonic beasts nodded in unison. At this moment, they no longer had any objections. Bailey Hongzhuang and the other two heaved a sigh of relief. If they had allowed the three demonic beasts to continue arguing like this, who knows how much time they would have wasted here. Along the way, the three demonic beasts mumbled and played with the Chinquan pouch in their hands. This was simply the most miraculous treasure they had ever seen. Such a miraculous pouch. It'll be convenient for us to go out in the future. We can even put in the fruits we plucked along the way. We can't tell the other demonic beasts this secret. Huh, that's right. We must keep it a secret. Bailey Hongzhuang and the other two listened to the conversation of the three demonic beasts. These three fellows thought that they were very secretive when they spoke, but when would they ever change their habit of speaking? Along the way, they constantly encountered other demonic beasts. Some of the demonic beasts that they were more familiar with would also greet each other. However, they did not form a huge group to travel together. Even so, as they traveled further and further, many groups were getting closer and closer. Bailey Hongzhuang looked at the route they were taking and could not help but frown because she felt that this route was very familiar. Fox, are we going to the other side of the river? This route was clearly the one they had taken when they were heading to the other side of the river. Could it be that the holy world was also on the other side? The fox shook its head. We're not going to the other side of the river. We're going to that river. That river? Yang Qinxue was confused. Are we going to follow that river to the holy world? That's right. The lion nodded. The holy world is going to pass through that river. Hearing this, Bailey Hongzhuang and the other two looked at each other. They had already experienced the power of that river. With their cultivation, they could only stay on the lion's back to withstand the demonic wind. Moreover, it was extremely difficult. If they could, they really did not want to cross the river again. They never thought that they would have to pass through this river to reach the holy world. Just thinking about the process was enough. The fox and the others did not notice the change in the three's emotions at all. They were completely immersed in the excitement of going to the holy world. Several days later, Bailey Hongzhuang and the others arrived at the river. At the same time, many other demonic beasts had also arrived. Are we going down the river now? Yang Lingfeng looked at the calm river in front of him, his eyes filled with fear. He felt that this river was truly miraculous. From afar, it looked as if there were no waves, but once one entered it, they would feel the terrifying waves. No, we have a row over on a bamboo raft. Fox shook his head and pointed at the monsters on the side. Look, they've already cut down the trees. We have to speed up, otherwise we'll fall behind. Looking in the direction the fox was pointing, they noticed that many demonic beasts on the other side had already started to get busy. Make a bamboo raft. Yang Lingfeng blushed with shame. Everything in this place was very primitive. If he wanted to cross the river, he had to make a bamboo raft himself. Then let's get started. Bailey Hongzhuang didn't say much and followed Rock to the other side to cut down trees. Chapter 69:53. Actually, I don't understand either. Yang Qinxue shrugged. The longer she stayed in this place, the more she couldn't understand. I've realized that the best thing to do in this place is to not use your brain. That way, everything will seem more natural. If you think about it yourself, you won't be able to understand it. Yang Lingfeng sighed. Hearing this, Yang Qinxue stared at him blankly for a moment, then nodded and said, You're absolutely right. Just as Bailey Hongzhuang and the others were about to cut down the trees to make a bamboo raft, suddenly, a cry of envy came from not far away. Wow, look at that boat. It's so beautiful. It looks so much better than our bamboo raft. How much effort did it take to make it? These guys on the other side of the river must be unhappy that we were suppressed last time, so they thought of a way to make a boat like this. After seeing this scene, the fox's face fell. I knew that these guys wouldn't let it go so easily. It turns out that they put all their effort into this. There's nothing we can do about it. Our bamboo raft is destined to be suppressed. The monsters on the south side of the river were distressed. The other party had come prepared, and it was obvious that it would take a lot of effort to make a boat like this. In such a sudden situation, They weren't prepared at all, so it was even more impossible for them to fight back. The saber-toothed tiger and a group of monsters were sitting on the boat, and they even deliberately stopped by the riverbank. Your speed is too slow. We might as well wait for you. I didn't expect that it's been 300 years since the last opening of the Holy World, and you're still making bamboo rafts here. Aren't you a little too backward? Seeing that you're all dressed up, I thought that you're all very capable now. Turns out that you're just doing your own thing. You don't even have the slightest bit of teamwork. TSK, TSK. Facing the saber-toothed tiger's ridicule, the fox and the other monsters' faces had already turned gloomy. However, even if they were unwilling to accept it, they could only swallow it down. If they fought back, the other party would continue to chatter, and they would be the ones to lose face in the end. When Bailey Hongzhuang and the others returned, they heard these words. When the saber-toothed tiger saw Bailey Hongzhuang, its eyes turned red. A year ago, it was because of this fellow that it had lost face in front of so many demonic beasts. Since then, its status had been questioned a lot. So much so that it had spent the past year trying to eliminate the impact of the previous incident. Fortunately, he remembered to use the ship to turn the tables. Otherwise, he didn't know how long it would take to eliminate these effects. Fortunately, the effect was quite good. White guy, aren't you very smart? Why did he slack off in the past year? I thought you would bring us a surprise. The saber-toothed tiger chuckled and cast a disdainful look at Bailey Hongzhuang. Saber-toothed tiger, but getting more and more shameless. You're actually targeting such a young demonic beast. You're really shameless. The fox glared angrily. This fellow actually dared to target the white fellow like this. He was simply abominable. Chapter 69:54. Once those words were spoken, the group of demon beasts to the south of the river fell silent. They knew very well that Bailey Hongzhuang and the others' cultivation levels were indeed a little too weak. Even if they were to enter the Holy Realm, the chances of them obtaining the Holy Spirit fruit would be very slim. However, none of them cared. It was not a big deal to make a trip there anyway. Now that the saber-toothed tiger had brought it up, they felt a little embarrassed. You don't have to worry about that. The fox rolled his eyes. If you have the time, you'd better mind your own business. We don't need you to worry about us. The saber-toothed tiger sneered. Do as you wish. You can continue building your little wooden raft. Haha, you've only just started building your wooden raft. You'll definitely be slower than us. The demon beasts to the north of the river were pleased with themselves. They had spent a lot of time building this boat. Although it had taken a lot of effort, they felt that the results today were not bad at all. It seems that we're being targeted again. Yang Lingfeng raised an eyebrow, his face showing a hint of anger. It's a pity that I don't have a boat in my storage ring. Otherwise, I'd give him a slap in the face. Yang Qinshua suddenly exclaimed, You're actually competing with a group of demon beasts. Aren't you angry? Yang Lingfeng retorted, It's because I've been taunted by a group of demon beasts that I'm even angrier. Ever since they had arrived at this place, they had always been worse off than the demon beasts. Now, they had to watch as the group of demon beasts who had once enslaved them walked past them with their heads held high. How could they not be angry? I'm very angry too. Yang Qinshue stomped her foot. I'm so angry. Logic told her that there was no need for her to be angry over something like this. However, under such circumstances, she felt that she was one of the demon beasts. There's nothing we can do. Who asked us to not have a boat? Yang Lingfeng spread out his hands. There was no point in feeling depressed now. The fox looked worriedly at Bailey Hongzhuang. Little white guy, you don't have to take the saber-toothed tiger's words to heart. The Holy Spirit fruit is very hard to come by. It's normal that you can't get your hands on it. Just take it as a chance to join in the fun. Next time, I believe that you'll definitely get your hands on the Holy Spirit fruit. Bailey Hongzhuang smiled. Thank you for trusting me. Didn't we not get the saber-toothed tiger before? Ignore it. Fox waved his hand and turned his gaze to the trees at the side. Let's move quickly, or we'll really fall behind. No need. Bailey Hongzhuang shook her head. We can leave now. Hearing this, Fox and the others were stunned. Set off directly? Follow me, I'll take you to a place. After Bailey Hongzhuang finished speaking, she turned around and walked in another direction. Seeing this, Yang Qinxue and the other two, as well as the three demonic beasts, quickly followed her. There were no other demonic beasts in this area. When the three demonic beasts arrived, they saw a silver ship in front of them. The shape of this ship was exquisite and gorgeous. At first glance, one could tell that it was not simple. Compared to the wooden ships made by the demon beasts in the north of the river, this ship was simply many times better. The rock rubbed his eyes and stared at the silver ship in disbelief. I'm not dreaming, am I? Heavens, why is there a ship here? The lion was completely stunned. I must be dreaming. Chapter 6955. The rock looked at Yang Lingfeng. Hey, hurry up and tell us that we're not dreaming. Yang Lingfeng also looked at the boat that had suddenly appeared in front of them with a confused expression and said hesitantly, maybe we're really dreaming. The anticipation on the faces of the three demonic beasts instantly disappeared. It's over. It's actually a dream. We're dreaming in broad daylight for no reason. Looking at the two people and three demonic beasts in front of her, and then listening to their conversation, Bailey Hongzhuang couldn't help but laugh. Look carefully, you're not dreaming. The nightingale's voice woke them up, and after regaining their senses, the three demonic beasts immediately rushed over and stretched out their hands to touch the boat in front of them. The ice-cold touch clearly told them that it wasn't an illusion in front of them, but reality. Wow, white guy, where did you get such a ship? The fox looked at Bailey Hongzhuang in surprise, its eyes filled with excitement. You don't have to worry about that. Anyway, we can set off now. Bailey Hongzhuang smiled slightly. This was all thanks to her previous experience in the ocean world. If it wasn't for the fact that they could only travel by boat in the ocean world, she wouldn't have kept such a boat in her chaos ring. This boat wasn't any ordinary boat, whether it was in terms of sturdiness or speed. It was much stronger. This was a magical weapon. It's over, it's over. The fox's eyes sparkled with little stars and directly pounced on Bailey Hongzhuang. White fellow, when you grow up, I'll marry you. Bailey Hongzhuang was stunned and looked in astonishment at the fox in front of her, whose face was filled with anticipation. This fellow. What on earth was he talking about? Yang Lingfeng and Yang Qinxue's expressions also became extremely strange. Beichen had only been away for a year, and Hongzhuang had already created a demonic beast love rival. However, without waiting for Bailey Hongzhuang to reply, the lion immediately jumped out. No way, no way. If you're going to marry someone, you should marry me. How can that small body of yours give you a sense of security compared to my tall and mighty figure? No way. You should marry me. I like white guys the most. Rock was not convinced. After I marry the white girl, I can fly with her wherever I want. You two short-legged things can only stay on the ground. Who said we can't fly? You're talking nonsense. The fox jumped up. The white guy is mine. None of you are allowed to snatch it from me. Bailey Hongzhuang. Yang Lingfeng swallowed his saliva and said, if the three of them knew that Hongzhuang was already married, I wonder what kind of expressions they would have. I'm looking forward to seeing Beichen's expression when he learns about this. Yang Qinxue couldn't help but snicker. Usually, Beichen kept a close eye on Hongzhuang, and they couldn't be more clear about it. Previously, Yang Lingfeng had wanted to hug Hongzhuang out of excitement, but Beichen had forced him to retreat with a glare. Now that these three guys had announced that they wanted to marry Hongzhuang, Beichen probably even had thoughts of killing them. I'm suddenly looking forward to reaching the Holy Realm even more, but I don't know how strong Beichen is right now. These three guys are very strong. Yang Lingfeng frowned, and he couldn't help but worry for Beichen. With Beichen's personality, he definitely wouldn't tolerate such a situation, but once a fight broke out, then we don't need to worry. Yang Qinxue chuckled. Anyway, it's fine as long as there's a show to watch. Chapter 6956. Lion, I think you should marry the green one. I think she suits you better. Seeing that the lion and Rock had their eyes on the white one, the fox could only think of a way to divert their attention. Thinking about the green one, wasn't she still single? Yang Qinxue was a little dumbfounded when she saw that she was suddenly involved in this matter. The lion looked at Yang Qinxue and said, I won't do it. Marry her if you want. Rock was also unwilling, Don't try to trick me. I won't do it too. Yang Qinxue. Did it have to be so obvious? Kataha. Yang Lingfeng was trying to hold back his laughter at first, but he couldn't hold it in anymore. He didn't expect that his sister would be despised like this one day. He was going to die from laughter. Yang Qinxue narrowed her eyes. You're getting bolder and bolder recently. How dare you laugh at me? Sister, you're venting your anger on me because you can't beat them. Yang Lingfeng shouted as he dodged Yang Qinxue's fists. That's right. Yang Qinxue didn't deny it. I'll hit you. Stop. Yang Lingfeng held his head. Sister, it's okay if you're despised. Anyway, there's still Qingli. He won't despise you. Bailey Hongzhuang looked at the three guys who were arguing and said speechlessly, I'm not interested in any of you, but if you don't leave now, don't you want to be in the limelight in front of the saber-toothed tigers? Hearing this, the three beasts' eyes lit up and they quickly jumped up. Yes, we have to leave now. Without another word, the three beasts picked up the boat and walked towards the river. At the same time, the other beasts on the south side of the river also noticed the boat, and their eyes lit up. Wow, isn't the ship a little too beautiful? It's so much better than the saber-toothed tiger's boat. Fox, how did you get this boat? Fox enjoyed everyone's envious and longing gazes. He raised his chin and proudly said, I already guessed that the saber-toothed tiger and the others would definitely not give up, so we prepared such a ship to anger them to death. Then why didn't you take this ship out before? The beasts were puzzled. The fox was stunned for a moment before he boasted shamelessly. Then we have to let them be proud first. That way, they will suffer even more later. The other demonic beasts nodded in agreement. That makes sense. Fox, you're getting smarter and smarter. The fox smiled. Of course. Xiaohei looked at the fox's smug expression and could not help but ask, Master, does this count as the fox using its master's power? Bailey Hongzhuang raised her eyebrows and said, Your idioms have been getting better and better. Hee, you flatter me. As everyone boarded the ship, some of the demonic beasts also boarded the ship. However, the ship's hull was limited, so it was impossible to accommodate all the demonic beasts. Let's go. With a cheer from the fox, the lion began to control the ship to move forward. Bailey Hongzhuang looked at the calm lake water. From the moment she stepped onto the boat, she had already noticed that there was no terrifying demonic wind on the surface of the river. This river was just like how it looked on the surface, calm and without waves. There was only a gentle breeze, which brought a hint of coolness. Chapter 69:57. I thought my hairstyle would be blown into a mess again. I'm a little disappointed that it's so calm. Yang Lingfeng stretched out his hand to feel the breeze, and a smile appeared on his face that deserved a beating. This river is usually very difficult to cross, but when the gate to the holy world opens, the river will return to its calm state, and the terrifying demonic winds will disappear. The fox smiled faintly. If it wasn't for that, we wouldn't have dared to bring you guys this time. Otherwise, we wouldn't even be able to cross this river, let alone find the entrance to the holy world. No wonder they're preparing to make wooden rafts to cross this waterway. Yang Qinxue came to a realization. Now that I think about it, the holy world is quite sympathetic to them. The lion became more and more excited as it controlled the boat to move forward. It realized that the boat had very little resistance when it moved forward, and its speed was extremely fast. Even if it didn't control it much, its speed was still much faster than the bamboo rafts. Under the control of its elemental energy, its speed was simply astonishing. This boat is really amazing. I guarantee that it won't be long before we catch up to the saber-toothed tiger and the others. The lion said excitedly. Hearing this, the demonic beasts on the boat all revealed looks of anticipation. The saber-toothed tiger and the group of demonic beasts controlled the boat to move forward slowly. This boat was actually built after they heard Yang Lingfeng's suggestion. It was precisely because of Yang Lingfeng's suggestion that they felt that this fellow was somewhat useful, so they were a little more lenient towards him. Who would have thought that something like that would happen later on? But no matter how they looked at it, this fellow was finally of some use. Those fellows in the south of the river think that they're amazing just because they're wearing new clothes. They do some good-looking but useless things. Isn't that right? Just relying on those bamboo rafts, their speed is definitely not comparable to ours. The group of demonic beasts gathered together, and their faces were full of pride and laughter. Usually, the demonic beasts on both sides of the river didn't have much contact with each other, and it was only at times like this that they had the opportunity to compete. Right at this moment, a surprised voice suddenly sounded. "Look, what's that silver thing behind us? It's so bright. I feel like my eyes are going to be blinded by it. It's so fast. It seems like it's rushing towards us." Hearing this, the saber-toothed tiger also turned its gaze. As expected, under the sunlight, a huge silver figure reflected the dazzling light. It was dazzling, eye-catching, and dazzling. As it narrowed its eyes, it finally saw the true appearance of the silver figure. "That's a ship." The saber-toothed tiger's voice sank, and there was a complicated and hesitant look in its eyes. Why would a ship appear out of nowhere? The other demonic beasts also saw that it was an extremely dazzling silver ship. Originally, they thought that their ships were already dazzling enough, but compared to this ship, the difference was like heaven and earth. This ship couldn't have been made by those guys south of the riverbank, right? A demonic beast couldn't help but guess. As soon as these words were spoken, the saber-toothed tiger rejected them without hesitation. Impossible. Chapter 69:58. The saber-toothed tiger's expression also turned cold. It's not like you don't know the fox's personality. If it really had such a preparation, it would have already shown off before. Why would it swallow its pride? At this moment, everyone dispelled the worries in their hearts. They had interacted with the fox a few times before. Its personality was not something that could be tolerated at all. Then this is strange. If it's not those demonic beasts from the south of the river, then why would such a ship appear on the river? The group of demonic beasts immediately became even more puzzled. At this moment, a demonic beast suddenly thought of something and said excitedly, "I know, this ship must be from the holy world." With this thought raised, the other demonic beasts all nodded. That's right, that's right. Other than the holy world, there's no other place that can make such a ship. I haven't been to the holy world for 300 years. I'm sure the demonic beasts in the holy world must be more powerful now. You could tell just by looking at this ship. The saber-toothed tiger's face revealed a smile. It had always been yearning for the holy world. All these years, its greatest wish was to be able to become a member of the holy world. Unfortunately, it was not easy to become a member. It could only hope that it could succeed this time. Look, that ship's speed is really too fast. In the blink of an eye, it's getting closer and closer to us. Maybe we can even greet the demonic beasts in the holy world. The group of demonic beasts immediately, subconsciously tidied their fur and looked at the ship excitedly. If they could take this opportunity to get familiar with the demonic beasts in the holy world, it would undoubtedly be best. However, as the silver ship got closer and closer, the fierce cloud monkey rubbed its eyes in confusion and said with some doubt, "Why do I seem to see the figure of a lion on it?" "You don't seem to be mistaken. Not only do I see a lion, I also see a rock. Could it be a coincidence?" The fierce cloud monkey was a little doubtful. It was impossible for such a ship to appear on the other side of the river. At the same time, the saber-toothed tiger gnashed its teeth and said, "It's that guy. I've already seen the fox." Not only did he see the fox, but he also saw this guy's annoying expression. "Yo-ho, saber-toothed tiger, your ship's speed is not good." In the next moment, Fox's voice sounded from the opposite ship. "I thought you guys would have improved a lot after not seeing you for a year. The ship you built is really not much. How dare you show off in front of us? Isn't that laughable?" Yang Lingfeng looked at the saber-toothed tiger provocatively. Previously, he had been imprisoned by this fellow. Just thinking about it was a dark history. "You did it on purpose." The saber-toothed tiger's face was gloomy. It was now certain that Yang Lingfeng was behind this. Lion slowed down a little. Fox called out to Lion, who was controlling the rudder. "You have to think about them. They are too slow. We have to give them some leeway." Lion sighed. "This is already my slowest speed. Sigh, I'll try my best." Hearing the lion's annoying sigh, the saber-toothed tiger and the other demonic beasts almost vomited blood. Could this fellow be any more shameless? Chapter 69-59. Fox and the others are really elated this time. Yang Qinshua walked to Bailey Hongzhuang's side and looked at the girl who was much younger than her. Her heart was filled with admiration and emotion. In the past year, she clearly understood that the reason why Hongzhuang could have such a high status among the demonic beasts was because of her seriousness and preparation. She thought that even if she and Ling Feng met the three monsters first, their situation would definitely not be better than Hongzhuang's. Although Hongzhuang was weak, she had always used other methods to win her dignity and the respect of these monsters. Bailey Hongzhuang smiled faintly, smiling as she looked at the group of demonic beasts not far away. This is how they should be. She liked to see Fox and the others' proud faces, just like when they first met. Speaking of which, I feel that Yang Lingfeng has completely regarded himself as a monster now. Xiao He lazily leaned on Bailey Hongzhuang's shoulder and yawned. Logically speaking, it was the real monster. However, ever since Yang Lingfeng appeared, it felt that this guy was happier than it was. Yang Qinshua's lips twitched. This guy's already let go of himself. I feel that with his intelligence, he is really suitable to be with them. Great minds think alike. Bailey Hongzhuang chuckled. Her nightingale-like laughter was pleasant to the ears. After meeting the saber-toothed tiger and the others, Fox and the others were not in a hurry to speed up. They always controlled their speed to be a little ahead of them, but not too far away. This situation angered the saber-toothed tiger and the others. No matter how dissatisfied they were, they could not change the situation and could only endure it. Boss, if this continues, I'm afraid everyone will have opinions about you again. The fierce cloud monkey walked to the saber-toothed tiger's side, his words full of worry. I know. The saber-toothed tiger's face was gloomy. But what can we do now? It originally wanted to use this opportunity to redeem everything, but who would have thought that it would be counterattacked by the other party? The situation couldn't get any worse, but it had no other way. The blazing cloud monkey sighed as well. He lowered his voice and said, Boss, we may not be able to do anything right now, but we can still think of something once we reach the Saint's world. You mean? The saber-toothed tiger's expression changed slightly, and the sinister look in its eyes became even more intense. The fierce cloud monkey nodded. Since they didn't know what was good for them and dared to challenge her dignity time and time again, they deserved to end up like this. You're right. The saber-toothed tiger raised its eyebrows. This kind of fellow should be dealt with directly. After drifting for several days, the group of demonic beasts gathered together, and it was very lively. At the request of the group of demonic beasts, Bailey Hongzhuang and the others directly began to prepare food and wine on the ship. Damn it, they're really too much. The fierce cloud monkey couldn't help but be annoyed. These fellows are deliberately making us unhappy. During these days of drifting on the river, these fellows deliberately drove the ship faster. After they disappeared, they became very anxious. Unfortunately, their ship could only go so fast, so there was nothing they could do but be anxious. Chapter 69-60. However, when they knew that they were nearing, they then saw the real situation clearly. So these fellows had purposely stopped the boat for no other reason but to catch fish in the river. After seeing them, they even ridiculed them, saying that their speed was simply too slow. They had already caught the fish and were still waiting for them. In the following few days, this kind of thing kept repeating itself. If it was just like this, it would be fine, but these fellows were still cooking on the boat and even purposely tempting them. Originally, they didn't take it to heart. After all, it wasn't as if they hadn't eaten this fish before. No matter how they cooked it, it tasted the same, but these fellows were bragging as if it was the best in the world. Saber-toothed tiger, do you want to have a taste? The fox waved the fish in its hand and asked complacently, Fox, you really haven't seen the world. It's just a fish and you're so agitated. Don't you think it's funny? The saber-toothed tiger's eyes were filled with disdain. The fox laughed. That's because you haven't tasted what is a real delicacy. Our white fellow's food is not just any ordinary delicacy. Even if you want to eat, I won't give it to you. I don't care either. Bailey Hongzhuang, who was standing by the side, looked at the fox and the saber-toothed tiger's routine bickering. This fellow was obviously trying to anger the saber-toothed tiger to death. "Fox, give them a few fish," Bailey Hongzhuang suddenly said. Hearing that, the fox's face fell. "Why should I give it to them? Listen to me." Bailey Hongzhuang didn't explain. Seeing that, although the fox was unwilling, it could only do as it was told. The world was big, and the white fellow was the biggest. "Here, I'll let you have a taste of what is a delicacy on earth." The fox took out a few fish and reluctantly put one back before throwing it towards the boat on the opposite bank. The saber-toothed tiger wasn't willing to catch it, but the other demonic beasts on the boat still caught it. Actually, they had been watching for a few days and were very curious about it. As the grilled fish entered their hands, they smelled that incomparably alluring fragrance. This fragrance was something they had never smelled before and had completely exceeded their knowledge. "What kind of grilled fish is this? Why is it so fragrant? Why don't we try it? Their behavior is so exaggerated. Why don't we give it a try and find out? If the taste is really not that good, then we can mock them, right?" Many demonic beasts secretly looked at the saber-toothed tiger's expression while secretly pulling off a piece of fish and stuffing it into their mouths. After tasting it, the demonic beast's expression immediately changed. Deep amazement appeared in its eyes. "Oh my God, this is too delicious. How did you do it? The grilled fish I usually eat doesn't taste like this." Following a cry of surprise, the other demonic beasts couldn't resist the temptation and came over to have a taste. Once they tasted it, they couldn't stop. A few fish were simply not enough to eat. By the time the other beasts reacted, the few fish were already gone. For a moment, the group of demonic beasts eagerly looked at the ship in front of them. It would have been fine if he hadn't tasted it, but after tasting it, he was even more envious as he watched the other party eat it. They could only taste a mouthful, but the other party could eat the whole thing. However, due to the enmity between the two sides, they could only watch helplessly. Their hearts felt terrible. Chapter 69-61. "You flatter me." Bailey Hongzhuang smiled faintly. At first, the fox and the others did not understand Bailey Hongzhuang's intentions, but when they noticed the change in the demonic beasts on the other side, they thought about it carefully and gradually understood. "White fellow, you're really smart." The fox's face was filled with excitement. Previously, no matter how much they coveted the other party, they did not seem to be affected too much. However, the white fellow had only casually given out a few fish and had caused such a huge change in the demonic beast's attitudes. She was simply too amazing. "Haha, this is really satisfying." The lion's face was filled with joy as well. It has been a long time since it felt so refreshed. Looking at the demonic beast's expressions, it was simply indescribably satisfying. Hence, the journey on the boat was spent under the fox and the other's extreme delight, while the saber-toothed tiger and the other's extreme torment. On this day, Bailey Hongzhuang suddenly noticed a faintly discernible immortal bridge in front of them. Her eyes immediately shone with a dazzling light. She had previously heard the fox mention that when they saw an immortal bridge, they would no longer need to continue on the boat. "Look, the immortal bridge has appeared." Xiao Hei pointed excitedly in front of them. All they could see was mist curling up in front of them. Layers upon layers of mist made the place look like an immortal realm. A huge bridge was hidden in the immortal chi, and they could vaguely make out the outline of it. The sunlight here seemed to be tinged with a hint of gentleness. It was less intense and more spacious. Bathed in the sunlight, everyone felt enlightened and their moods brightened. "We can disembark once we reach the front." The fox looked excitedly in front of them. "White fellow, this bridge is not just a bridge, it's also a test." Hearing this, Bailey Hongzhuang and the others looked at the bridge in a different light. They had previously heard from the fox that it was not an easy task to enter the Holy Realm. Every time, many demonic beasts would arrive, but they would have to go through a series of selections. As for the final quota for the Holy Spirit fruit, it was even more difficult. In fact, they were not unfamiliar with this. It was just like when they encountered inheritances or explored secret realms. It was definitely not easy to reach the end. With their strength, it was basically impossible for them to obtain the Holy Spirit fruit. Aside from that, They had another reason why they had to enter the Saint's world. Because they wanted to find Beichun. If they could not enter the Saint's world, they would not be able to confirm whether Beichun was in the Saint's world. If he missed this opportunity, it would be even more difficult to find Beichun in the future. Thinking of this, Bailey Hongzhuang's eyes were a little more dignified. With their cultivation, their chances of passing through the trial were the lowest among all the demonic beasts. But no matter what, she had to try her best. Fox, according to your past experience, how can we cross this bridge? Yang Qinxue turned to look at the fox. They didn't know anything about the bridge, so they could only place their hopes on other monsters. Even if it was just a little bit more information, the chances of success would be much higher. Hearing this, the three demonic beasts looked at each other. Their faces were filled with confusion. We really don't know how to pass through. Chapter 69-62. When we came here before, it was all by chance. Fox said seriously. Then how do you judge your chances? Yang Qinxue was puzzled. Logically speaking, no matter what kind of checkpoint it was, there would be a way to pass it. Even if it was a chance, there would still be a standard to judge it. Those with chance will pass it smoothly. Those without chance will fall off the bridge. The fox thought. The rock and the lion at the side asked, "Am I right?" "Yes, that's right." The lion nodded. "How can something like chance be judged by us? That's how we judge it based on this bridge. The demon beasts in the Holy Realm are so smart. How can we judge this method?" The rock pretended to look into the distance. All of this can be understood, but not explained. Yang Qinxue became more and more confused. This bridge is so hard to understand. Bailey Hongzhuang looked at the three demon beasts helplessly and said, "In the end, you haven't paid attention to the method at all, right?" Hearing this, the three demon beasts paused for a moment before nodding. That seems to be the case. Yang Qinxue. Yang Lingfeng looked at Bailey Hongzhuang with emotion. "I really admire you from the bottom of my heart. Only you can understand all of this." Yang Qinxue was also very embarrassed. She was almost confused by what these guys said just now. "So, this was what it was all about, right? You said that this checkpoint was set up by the demon beasts in the Holy Realm?" Bailey Hongzhuang remembered the key point in the fox's words and asked again. The fox nodded. Of course. Seeing this, Bailey Hongzhuang's heart also had a trace of understanding. Soon, the boat stopped under the bridge. "Let's get off the boat." The demon beasts quickly got off the boat. The saber-toothed tiger and the rest were clearly slower and only arrived after they had all gotten off the boat. Looking at the majestic bridge in front of them, Bailey Hongzhuang and the rest were in awe. "Wow, this bridge is so beautiful." Yang Qinxue looked at the colorful bridge in front of her in surprise. The bridge was made up of 7 different colors, and it looked as bright and dazzling as a rainbow. Dense fog drifted around the bridge, adding a trace of immortal aura. "It's really beautiful here," Bailey Hongzhuang said emotionally. Ever since he came to this mystic realm, the environment here was unprecedentedly beautiful, and the immortal bridge in front of him was even more unique. "White guy, you guys have to be careful in a while." The fox looked at Bailey Hongzhuang. "We can't protect you here either. Once you're eliminated, you'll fall off the immortal bridge. There's nothing we can do." Bailey Hongzhuang nodded slightly. "I understand. Get ready, and we'll set off." Lion looked at Bailey Hongzhuang and the other two and reminded them. "Wait," Bailey Hongzhuang suddenly said. "Fox, I have a favor to ask of you." "What is it?" "Old man, if there's anything you want, just say it. As long as it's within my power, I'll definitely do it. Even if you want me to give the Holy Spirit fruit to you, it's not impossible." Fox chuckled. "Then you'll have to marry me." "I'm not going to marry you." Bailey Hongzhuang rolled her eyes. This guy still hasn't given up. Chapter 69-63. Bailey Hongzhuang was speechless. Was she always being teased by demonic beasts? Let's be serious. Seeing Bailey Hongzhuang's serious expression, the 3 demonic beasts immediately stopped joking. "White guy, what's the matter? We still have a brother who is wandering outside, and we don't know where he is at the moment. If you see demonic beasts similar to us after entering the Holy Realm, then he will definitely be our brother. If we can't enter, I hope you can inform him that we are waiting for him outside." Bailey Hongzhuang's eyes were serious. If they couldn't enter, then they could only pin their hopes on the three demonic beasts. Hearing this, the three demonic beasts also understood. White guy, I don't want to pour cold water on you, but ordinary demonic beasts can't enter the holy realm at all. The lion couldn't help but say, your brother went missing more than a year ago, and the holy realm gate only opens once every 300 years. No matter what, he can't enter the holy realm. You don't have to care about this. If he's not here, you don't have to care. If he's here, you must help me tell him. Bailey Hongzhuang was too lazy to explain. They were teleported here, and this couldn't be judged based on the common sense here. Seeing Bailey Hongzhuang's serious look, the three demonic beasts couldn't bear to pour cold water on her and immediately nodded. Don't worry, if we see him, we will definitely bring him out. Bailey Hongzhuang showed a relieved expression and then stepped on the rainbow immortal bridge with a group of demonic beasts. The moment she stepped on the immortal bridge, Bailey Hongzhuang felt that the bridge was very soft to the touch, as if she was stepping on cotton. What bridge is this? It feels too magical, doesn't it? Yang Qinxue couldn't help but smile. As a woman, she really couldn't resist such a scene. The things she saw during her daily training were all hard and sharp. How could it be as beautiful and soft as this? For a moment, she even had an illusion that everything here wasn't training at all, but a walk in the spring. Most importantly, this walk in the spring was unprecedentedly beautiful. Bailey Hongzhuang was also immersed in it. Every step she took felt like she was walking on cotton candy, and if she wasn't careful, she would sink deeper. The warm touch surrounded her. Sister, you have to stay calm. Yang Lingfeng looked at Yang Qinshue's happy face and couldn't help but remind her. We're here to train. Don't treat this as a place to play. What kind of joke? His sister was completely immersed in the beauty in front of her eyes, and she had completely forgotten the purpose of her visit. Okay? Hearing Yang Lingfeng's roar, Yang Qinxue recovered from her initial surprise, and a trace of guilt appeared in her eyes. This place was really too beautiful. It was really hard to imagine that this was a training ground. I got it. Yang Lingfeng suddenly, and the others couldn't help Hongzhuang, and Hongzhuang couldn't help but look. This bridge must have been purposely designed to look like this, so that you wouldn't feel threatened. That's why you were eliminated without anyone noticing. A brilliant move. This is really a brilliant move. No matter if it was Hongzhuang or his elder sister, they were usually calm and collected. None of them would act like a spoiled little girl like this. Chapter 69-64. Looking at Yang Lingfeng's serious look, Bailey Hongzhuang and Yang Qinxue looked at each other. It was rare to see this guy so clear-headed. Yang Qinxue patted Yang Lingfeng's shoulder, looking comforted. Brother, it's rare for him to be muddle-headed, but it's rare for you to be so smart. Yang Lingfeng rolled his eyes. At least I'm clear-headed at the crucial moment. Unlike you who's muddle-headed when faced with such a situation. Yang Qinxue pursed her lips. All right, I admit that what you said makes sense. We really have to be more careful. Bailey Hongzhuang also recovered from her initial surprise. As long as we can cross this bridge, we'll be considered to have passed the first test. Now we don't have to rush. Let's see how the other monsters are doing. Hearing this, the two nodded slightly. They didn't have any experience or skills at the moment, but the only thing they could do was to observe and understand everything. When the saber-toothed tiger reached the bridge, it saw Bailey Hongzhuang and the other two standing behind it, and a trace of disdain appeared in its eyes. I knew that you guys aren't strong enough. Coming here is just asking to be humiliated. Now you don't even dare to go up. Isn't that too embarrassing? How can you say that? A trace of anger appeared on Yang Lingfeng's face. He had long found this guy an eyesore. Am I not speaking the truth? The saber-toothed tiger chuckled, a trace of pride on its face. We're just observing. Bailey Hongzhuang looked at the saber-toothed tiger provocatively. Only by observing can we pass the test better. Unlike you guys who only know how to pass the test blindly and don't know how to summarize your experience to pass the test more safely. After hearing this, the saber-toothed tiger's expression changed and immediately said, unconvinced, "Who said that we don't have any experience? We have much more experience than you guys who are inexperienced. If you're so capable, then tell me, what experience have you guys summarized?" Bailey Hongzhuang raised her eyebrows. I'm here to see if you guys are deliberately trying to trick me. I'll know if you're telling the truth as soon as I hear it. Humph. The saber-toothed tiger snorted coldly. Then let me tell you, this bridge is divided into 3 tests. The first layer was the first third of the bridge. Demonic beasts that couldn't pass through this section would directly fall off the bridge. The second layer was the middle section. Demonic beasts that couldn't pass through would be blown away. As for the demonic beasts in the third section, they would be pushed to the sides by a mysterious force. Only demonic beasts that were fated with the holy world would be able to walk down from the middle. What do you think? Am I right? On the side, Yang Qinxue and Yang Lingfeng had long been admiring Bailey Hongzhuang. To be able to get information out of the saber-toothed tiger in such a situation, the skill of getting information out of it was simply perfect. I feel that Hongzhuang is getting better at dealing with these demonic beasts. She managed to dig out such useful information in such a short time. Yang Qinxue's eyes were filled with excitement. She did not doubt the saber-toothed tiger's words at all. So this bridge actually has 3 stages. If we didn't hear it from the saber-toothed tiger, we really wouldn't have known. Chapter 69-65. Following the saber-toothed tiger's words, the demonic beasts on the north side of the river all exclaimed in surprise. I didn't expect Boss to be so powerful. He could even see through such a difficult question. Of course, not just anyone can be boss. Only our boss has such a smart brain. The fierce cloud monkey said proudly. The smile on the saber-toothed tiger's face gradually widened as he said arrogantly, with your brain, it's impossible for you to figure out all of this. Bailey Hongzhuang chuckled. What you said is just a fact that everyone knows. Fox and the others have already told me all of this. Fox, who was not far away, couldn't help but feel a little guilty when the saber-toothed tiger said all of this. Thinking back to when the white fellow asked it, it didn't know anything at all. Wasn't that why it was defeated by the saber-toothed tiger? However, it didn't expect that the white fellow would protect its dignity in such a situation. It immediately felt even more touched. No, she had to marry the white guy. Saber-toothed tiger, don't be so cocky. This is nothing at all. The fox mocked. The saber-toothed tiger's expression changed slightly as it looked at the fox in confusion. Didn't this fellow only come to the holy world once? Could it be that he had already figured out all of this? You guys are talking nonsense. The saber-toothed tiger said coldly. Immediately, it stopped talking and hurriedly walked forward. Bailey Hongzhuang's lips curled up slightly. These simple fellows were too easy to deceive. After the demonic beasts were some distance away, Bailey Hongzhuang also noticed that when they were about 5 meters on the bridge, some demonic beasts began to fall off the bridge one after another. This cotton candy-like bridge seemed to be directly connected. The demonic beasts would directly fall into it and eventually fall off the bridge. According to the information they received, even if they fell off the bridge, their lives wouldn't be in danger. However, this meant that they wouldn't be able to enter the holy world. Bailey Hongzhuang and the other 2 weren't in a hurry. There was no time limit to this level, so they still had some time to observe how they could successfully pass this level. I can't see through this either. Yang Lingfeng frowned as he looked at the demonic beasts. They didn't do anything at all. Every demonic beast was in a similar state. They just moved forward one after another. Some of the demonic beasts directly fell down without any signs. There was no clue at all. This is indeed a little strange. I can't see what this test is. Yang Qinxue was also confused. She thought that this checkpoint should be a test of strength, but from the looks of it, there was no such thing as a test of strength at all. Could it really be like what the fox and the others said? That it all depends on luck? Bailey Hongzhuang just quietly observed the situation in front of her, not answering. She believed that no matter what kind of assessment it was, there would always be a certain standard. Just because they didn't discover it didn't mean that the standard didn't exist. They just needed to spend more effort to find it. Or tiger. Chapter 69-66. There was no time left, but he hadn't found anything yet. This feeling was too depressing. Don't worry, we won't be eliminated in the first test. Bailey Hongzhuang's lips slowly curved into a faint smile. her delicate jade-like face shining with a confident luster. When she said this, Yang Qinxue and Yang Lingfeng looked at her in confusion. Why? Let's try walking over first. Bailey Hongzhuang took the lead and walked steadily towards the middle of the bridge. Yang Qinxue and Yang Lingfeng followed after her, but they couldn't help but feel nervous. If something went wrong, they would be eliminated. However, as Bailey Hongzhuang walked up step by step, the two realized that everything was just as she said. The entire process was very smooth. They didn't encounter any problems and didn't fall off the bridge. Hongzhuang, what's going on? Yang Qinxue couldn't help but ask. Bailey Hongzhuang looked ahead quietly. At this moment, there were already some monsters that were blown down by the demonic wind. No matter how they struggled, they couldn't resist the force and could only passively fall down. I'm not completely sure yet. I'll tell you when I'm sure. Hearing this, Yang Qinxue didn't continue to ask. Bailey Hongzhuang always had her own ideas. Since she said this, it meant that she had a certain clue, which was undoubtedly the best. For a moment, the two continued to observe the monsters in front of them. They wanted to find the similarities between the monsters that were blown away. When the saber-toothed tiger noticed that Bailey Hongzhuang and the other two weren't immediately eliminated, its face turned ugly. I didn't think that these guys would be so lucky. They actually passed the first test. The fierce cloud monkey's eyes darkened. Boss, this is only the first test. These guys are just blind cats that met a dead mouse. They will fall down sooner or later. In the holy world, luck alone isn't enough. We'll get rid of them sooner or later. The saber-toothed tiger turned its head and continued forward. The coldness in its eyes became more and more intense. After Bailey Hongzhuang observed for a moment, a look of understanding appeared on her face. Hongzhuang, it's time for us to leave. Yang Lingfeng wanted to take a step forward, but Bailey Hongzhuang quickly stopped him. Wait, what happened? I'm afraid it won't be easy for us to pass this stage. We have to make some preparations. As she spoke, Bailey Hongzhuang took out a few items from her chaos ring. Make some preparations? Yang Lingfeng looked doubtfully at the things in Bailey Hongzhuang's hands. Why are you taking out these refining materials? We can only pass this stage if we carry these things with us. Yang Qinxue was stunned. Why is that? In the first stage, the demonic beasts that were eliminated were those that were too bulky. In the second stage, the demonic beasts that were blown away were those that were too light. Therefore, if we want to pass the second stage, we have to make ourselves heavier. Otherwise, with our weight, we will definitely be blown away. Human's reminder was very weak in front of the demonic beasts. If they walked up in this state, they would definitely lose. Chapter 69-67. Did I hear wrongly? Yang Lingfeng's eyes widened. The technique to pass this level is so simple. He had been thinking about whether this level tested the demonic beast's intelligence or strength, and how it was judged. However, the reason Bailey Hongzhuang gave him was too blind. Bailey Hongzhuang nodded slightly. It's that simple. If you don't believe me, think carefully about the situation of the demonic beast that fell down just now. The siblings immediately thought about it seriously. After thinking about it, the two of them also realized that the situation seemed to be the case. Looking at the demonic beasts in front of them, the ones that were blown away were indeed the smaller ones. The lightning fox was directly blown down. The fox's body was also a little shaky, but it had been holding on. Is this test really that simple? Bailey Hongzhuang raised her eyebrows. With their intelligence, how difficult do you think the test will be? Yang Lingfeng, what you said makes sense. Yang Qinxue, Hongzhuang, you're still the best. I was thinking too much before. Sure enough, when facing these demonic beasts, they could only think in the simplest way to get close to their situation. Once they thought in a complicated way, it would be wrong. It's such a simple technique to pass the level, but these guys actually didn't realize it. It's really too stupid. Yang Lingfeng patted Yang Qinxue's shoulder and sighed. Get used to it. These guys' intelligence has always been like this. I'm more and more at ease with Beichen now. If he's really in the holy world, he shouldn't be in danger. Bailey Hongzhuang sighed in relief. From the design of this level, It could be seen that the demonic beasts in the holy world weren't that smart. After the three of them tied the refining materials to their bodies, passing the second level became very smooth. At the end of the second level, the three of them stopped and continued to observe the third level. The first level can't be too heavy. The second level can't be too light. I wonder what the third level is going to be. Yang Lingfeng straightened his expression and said in one go, I'll definitely be able to find out this level. Yang Qinxue didn't say anything, but she was also full of energy. Along the way, they had relied on Hong Zhuang to be their strategist. After being reminded so many times, if they still couldn't discover the third stage, then they would be too useless. As some of the demonic beasts were driven away, Bailey Hongzhuang was surprised to find that among the remaining demonic beasts on the bridge, the number of demonic beasts on the south side of the river was obviously higher than the number of demonic beasts on the north side of the river. This discovery made her feel very strange. From a situation of the previous two trials, the passing rate of the demonic beasts on both sides of the river was almost the same. Only this third trial had such a difference. Why was this? Yang Lingfeng was racking his brain. He tried to think in the simplest possible direction, but he realized that he couldn't think of any possibility at all. To be honest, it wasn't easy to think about things from the perspective of these guys. I really can't figure out what the third stage is. What is it? Yang Lingfeng patted his own head. These blockheads always think in a tricky way. Chapter 69-68. How is that possible? Yang Lingfeng retorted without hesitation. Sister, isn't your thinking a little too weird? That seems to be the case. Yang Qinxue felt a little guilty. She just couldn't think of any other possibilities and just happened to think of this point. So she blurted it out. Now that Yang Lingfeng retorted like this, she regretted saying it out loud. After all, it was a little strange at this moment. Bailey Hongzhuang suddenly chuckled. Qinxue is right. Yang Lingfeng was stunned. What do you mean? I mean, this third round should be testing one's looks. Her ink-black, beautiful eyes shone with a bright luster. She didn't understand at first, but later on, she unconsciously thought of this point. Because the thoughts of these demon beasts were too simple. They had always been very concerned about being smart and looking good. According to the past, the demon beasts on both sides of the river should be about the same. However, the demon beasts on the south side of the river had a much higher probability of passing, and this was also due to the clothes. Damn, it can't be. Yang Lingfeng was dumbfounded. Such a weird reason could actually be used for the assessment. Can't this assessment be a little more serious? Look at the previous two stages. You should have already realized that this isn't a serious assessment. Yang Lingfeng face-bombed. All right, you're right. White guy, do your best. Fox and the others had already reached the other side of the bridge and were waving at them. Bailey Hongzhuang's lips curled up slightly, and she looked at the two people beside her. Let's go too. Yang Lingfeng swaggered up. I'm still confident in my looks. At least I'm better looking than these demon beasts, right? That's not necessarily true. Demon beasts may have different aesthetic standards. If you fall, I'll laugh for the rest of my life. Yang Qinxue said sarcastically. Yang Lingfeng, you're my sister. It wasn't until the three of them successfully passed the immortal bridge that they breathed a sigh of relief. White guy, you guys actually passed. That's great. Fox excitedly came to Bailey Hongzhuang's side. I knew you were people with great luck. Maybe you'll be able to enter the holy realm like I did when I first came here. You really dare to dream. A fellow who hasn't even reached the elementary immortal stage wants to enter the holy world? You're simply blaspheming the holy world. The fierce cloud monkey looked at Bailey Hongzhuang and the other two with disdain. It was sure that they had only relied on luck. It wasn't that this kind of thing hadn't happened before, but after facing the later stages, their true colors would be revealed. You idiot, what do you know? Fox looked at the fierce cloud monkey in disdain. Take a good look. You guys from the north of the riverbank left behind much less than us. If you ask me, you guys are the ones who are really making up the numbers. What nonsense are you talking about? The fierce cloud monkeys retorted as they subconsciously looked behind them. They were surprised to find that there were fewer of them. At a glance, most of the demonic beasts were dressed in red, and their numbers could be clearly seen at a glance. Chapter 69. This is really strange. Why is their survival rate so much higher than ours? The fierce cloud monkey was puzzled. In terms of combat power, they were stronger than the fox and the others. What was going on? Don't think about it now. This is only the first stage. No one knows the final result. The saber-toothed tiger swept away the haze in its heart. Ever since they set off, they had been suppressed by the fox and the others. If they didn't adjust their conditions soon, the situation would only get worse. The first stage is about appearance. I don't know what will be tested later. Yang Lingfeng looked at the mountain in front of him. He really felt that these monsters had strange thoughts. Usually, he couldn't understand them. I think this is pretty good. Bailey Hongzhuang smiled. If it was about strength, we would have been eliminated long ago. You're right. Yang Lingfeng nodded. Then let's hope they can continue to maintain this standard. Looking at the towering mountain in front of them, Bailey Hongzhuang asked, "Is the holy realm on this mountain?" The fox shook its head. "We have to cross this mountain. After passing the test, we will have the chance to enter the holy gate. Don't underestimate this mountain. This is also a test. We have to follow this stream and move forward. There is a certain requirement for strength." The lion looked at the three of them and thought for a moment. Then it said, "Although your strength is a little weak, the difficulty of this stage isn't very high. As long as you work hard, there should be hope of success." Hearing this, Bailey Hongzhuang's heart also had a trace of understanding, and then continued to follow the three wicked beasts. A clear stream meandered down from the top of the mountain. It was like the water of the immortal realm. One by one, the monsters walked barefoot into the stream. Bailey Hongzhuang took off her shoes and walked into the stream with her hands holding the corner of her skirt. The cold touch of the stream instantly spread up. In that instant, she felt as if she was cold from head to toe. She couldn't help but shiver. His feet followed the stream all the way up. The stream seemed to be getting colder and colder, and his feet unconsciously became numb. A faint power entered her body from the stream, and Bailey Hongzhuang found that her consciousness was becoming clearer and clearer, as if her mind had never been so clear before. There's a mysterious power in this stream. Yang Qinxua looked at the stream under her feet in amazement. The stream didn't look any different, but after entering, she noticed the difference. Bailey Hongzhuang nodded slightly. This stream water has a purifying effect. Our elemental energy and mental energy are being purified. The reason why she felt that her mind was becoming clearer and clearer was because her spiritual power was also being purified. As an alchemist, she was very clear about the importance of mental energy. However, mental energy was different from origin energy. Even medicinal pills that had an effect on mental energy were extremely rare. Who would have thought that this seemingly ordinary stream would actually have such an effect? It was truly miraculous. My entire body is about to freeze. This process is too painful. Chapter 69-70. Bailey Hongzhuang raised her head and looked at the path in front of her. She was surprised to find that the path was very long. It was not easy to walk through it. We have to hold on. It's not just to pass the level. It's also very beneficial for us. A trace of firmness appeared in Bailey Hongzhuang's clear black and white eyes. Her hands clenched into fists, her feet already cold as she resolutely moved forward. Yang Lingfeng nodded slightly and stopped joking. He was also very clear that this kind of opportunity was very rare for cultivators. Even if they could not enter the holy realm, this baptism would be very helpful for their future. Their bodies gradually became numb, but their minds were unprecedentedly clear. Unknowingly, a thought gradually appeared in everyone's mind. Why do you cultivate? This thought kept appearing in Bailey Hongzhuang's mind. All of her attention was fixed on this question. Why do you cultivate? To become stronger, to protect the people you care about. One after another, these thoughts appeared in her mind. These questions were like rhetorical questions knocking on her heart. Unknowingly, her heart became abnormally firm. Many of the distracting thoughts gradually dissipated in this process. Only the initial belief was left. Living in this world, there are too many complications and temptations. Many cultivators had unknowingly forgotten their original intentions. Once they lost their way, it would be very difficult to maintain their original pace. Bailey Hongzhuang's eyes became brighter. After she understood everything, she only felt that the coldness in her feet seemed to have dissipated. Now, every step Yang Lingfeng took was very difficult. It seemed that he could collapse at any time. His mind was unprecedentedly clear. Why do I cultivate? The reason he wanted to break through the elementary celestial stage and enter the real immortal realm was to fulfill his father's wish. He was very clear that his father had been longing to enter the immortal realm for so many years. Unfortunately, due to the limitations of his cultivation, he could only stay in the chaotic immortal realm. Therefore, since he was young, his father had entrusted this wish to him. As for him, he had never thought about why he wanted to cultivate. He had always treated his father's wish as his goal. Yang Qinxue also fell into deep thought. The originally noisy group had unconsciously quietened down. Even the group of demonic beasts were completely immersed in their own emotions. It wasn't until Bailey Hongzhuang felt that her body had returned to normal and no longer felt the cold water under her feet that she suddenly woke up. When she looked ahead again, she suddenly realized that Fox and the others were already standing in front of her, looking at her with a smile. She turned to look at the stream she had just walked past. Only then did she notice that the stream was not as long as she had imagined. It was just a very simple stream. Yang Lingfeng and Yang Qinxue were still in the stream, but their speed was very slow. It could be described as the speed of a turtle. There was a trace of confusion on both of their faces, as if they were immersed in their own world. It was only at this moment that Bailey Hongzhuang realized that it was all an illusion. Chapter 69-71. White guy, I didn't expect you to be so powerful. The lion looked at Bailey Hongzhuang in amazement. This stage looked very simple, but it was not easy to pass it easily. Any demonic beast that couldn't figure out would be trapped here for a long time. Some demonic beasts could still pass the stage after figuring it out, but if they spent too much time here, it meant that they failed to pass the stage. They thought that this stage would be very difficult for the white guy and the others, but they did not expect the white guy's speed to be not much slower than theirs. Bailey Hongzhuang smiled in the face of the three demonic beasts' astonished gazes. She had experienced a lot along the way, so this stage was not too difficult for her. I wonder if the green guy and the others can pass. The fox looked worriedly at the two people behind who were still immersed in their own world. There is a time limit here. If they can't pass the stage in the time limit, they will lose. Speaking of which, this stage is different from the previous ones. The difficulty has been reduced by a lot. The rock flapped its wings. In the past, I was in my favorite illusion, so I couldn't judge. Now, you're just asking me what the purpose of cultivation is. Isn't this too simple? The fox nodded. Maybe we have a lot of fate with the holy world, so the stage is simple. Bailey Hongzhuang raised her eyebrows. What is the purpose of your cultivation? To survive, the three demonic beasts said in unison. If we are too weak, we won't be able to find a good cave, and good fruit trees won't belong to us. For these, we have to work hard to improve our strength. Looking at the three demonic beasts' extremely sincere expressions, Bailey Hongzhuang finally believed that everything they said before was true. It turned out that this stage was only more difficult for them, but for these simple-minded demonic beasts, it was not difficult at all. Boss, if this guy is left alive, he will definitely be a disaster in the future. The blazing cloud monkey looked at Bailey Hongzhuang again. He wanted to see this guy get eliminated, but he did not expect this guy's performance to be so outstanding. On the other hand, the demonic beast that had not broken through to the elementary celestial stage had a much worse performance. I'll find a chance to get rid of her when I challenge the stage later. The saber-toothed tiger narrowed its eyes, and a fierce look flashed across its eyes. It finally knew that since this guy appeared, these guys south of the riverbank had become more and more arrogant. Although the other two fellows were of the same race as her, they were obviously not as smart as this fellow. Otherwise, they would not have been suppressed by them for so long. The next stage is indeed a good opportunity. The fierce cloud monkey's eyes lit up. The checkpoints ahead were all very gentle. If he rashly attacked, these fellows south of the riverbank would definitely not sit by and watch. Right now, they were already at a disadvantage in terms of numbers. Once they started fighting, their situation would become even worse, so they could only make their moves secretly. There's not much time left. Will little Ching and the others make it in time? Rock was a little anxious. He looked like he couldn't wait to drag Green Guy and the others over. Let's wait a little longer. Bailey Hongzhuang stared at the two of them. She still had a glimmer of hope that they would be able to pass. Chapter 69-72. As time passed, the expressions of the surrounding demonic beasts gradually became serious. Although Bailey Hongzhuang didn't know how long this stage would take, she could roughly guess from the demonic beast expressions. They're getting closer and closer. The Rock paid attention to Yang Qinxue and Yang Qinxue's footsteps. Although they were moving at an extremely slow pace, it was undeniable that they were still moving forward. Bailey Hongzhuang nodded slightly. Soon. It's almost time. The lion was clearly not optimistic. If we don't figure it out soon, I'm afraid we won't make it in time. I really don't understand. Is this question so difficult to answer? The Rock was puzzled. This kind of question wasn't a problem for it at all. Not all demonic beasts have the same brain circuitry as you. Xiaohei's lips twitched. Sometimes, having a simple brain circuitry like theirs wasn't necessarily a bad thing. I knew that not all demonic beasts are as smart as me. You don't have to emphasize it. I know what I'm doing. Xiaohei covered her face. Pretend I didn't say anything. The stream is gradually disappearing. Bailey Hongzhuang's eyes narrowed. She suddenly noticed that the stream was gradually disappearing from behind. Once the stream completely disappears, and they still haven't made it out, it means that they failed. The fox reminded. The demonic beasts behind them were gradually disappearing. It was obvious that they had been eliminated. Right at this moment, Yang Lingfeng finally opened his eyes and looked at everyone excitedly. Hey, I passed the stage very quickly, right? Looking at the man's expectant smile, the fox and the rest's lips twitched. They gave a perfunctory laugh. As long as you're happy. Yang Lingfeng pursed his lips. Do you have to be so perfunctory? Now only Qinxue is left. Bailey Hongzhuang's gaze fell on Yang Qinxue. She was only a short distance away from passing the stage. As long as she could see through it, she still had a chance. Why is old sis slower than me? Yang Lingfeng was a little surprised. He always thought that his old sis was incomparably firm on this point. He didn't expect her to see through it slower than him. Sis, hurry up. Yang Lingfeng looked at the speed at which the stream was disappearing. There was a hint of anxiousness in his voice. You can't shout here. Rock covered Yang Lingfeng's mouth. Bah! Yang Lingfeng brushed away the bird feathers at the corner of his mouth. Only by shouting can she realize the current situation. This is completely useless, okay? As soon as Rock finished speaking, he realized that Yang Qinxue had already crossed the stream and was in front of everyone. How is it? Yang Lingfeng raised his eyebrows. With me, your younger brother, calling out to you, won't you be faster? You can do that. Rock was confused. Phew, that was close. Yang Qinxue took a deep breath. I almost couldn't pass. Sis, you're too slow. Luckily, I shouted at the end. Yang Lingfeng looked proud. Why did you take so long to think about this question? I've never thought about this question carefully before. It's just that everyone is cultivating, so I'm cultivating as well. However, after thinking about it carefully this time, I completely understood. Chapter 69-73. Yang Qinxue's eyes lit up like never before. She had been stuck in the glorious sun stage for quite some time, but she was still far from the elementary immortal stage. After such a long time, she could not even touch the barrier, let alone break through. The elementary immortal stage seemed to be infinitely far away, like a vast and boundless sea. She did not know where the shore was. However, after the baptism just now, she suddenly felt that it was no longer an ocean, but a lake. It was no longer so far away. Yang Lingfeng nodded seriously. Sister, I wouldn't have noticed if you didn't mention it. I realize that I've touched the barrier of the elementary immortal stage. Really? Yang Qinxue asked excitedly. Of course. Yang Lingfeng's lips could not help but curl upward. I've been unable to touch it for so many years. Now, I finally have hope of breaking through. Joy bloomed on their faces. Everything else aside, just this point alone made their trip here worth it. That's great. Bailey Hongzhuang was also happy for the two from the bottom of her heart. Let's go. We have to continue moving forward. The lion reminded them. Everyone came back to their senses and realized that the saber-toothed tiger and the rest had already taken the lead and headed up the mountain. Although I didn't expect you to waste so much time on this stage, it's great to have such a reward. The fox smiled. You have to break through the elementary immortal stage as soon as possible. That way, the saber-toothed tiger can't keep using this as a joke. Don't worry, I'll definitely break through soon. Yang Lingfeng was full of confidence. Even the mention of the saber-toothed tiger could not ruin his good mood. The 3 people and 4 beasts continued up the mountain. There were originally quite a number of monsters, but after passing these 2 stages, only half of them were left. Fox, what's next? Yang Qinxue asked curiously. If she had been just a little slower, she would have failed. The next stage might be even more difficult, so she could not help but worry. After we cross this mountain, we'll see the gate to the Holy Realm. The fox pointed ahead. The mountain towered into the clouds and could not be flown. It would take some time to walk over. We can enter the Holy Realm directly. How to enter the gates of the Holy Realm is still a test. I'll explain it to you in detail when we get there, the fox said. Hearing this, the 3 of them nodded slightly. Obviously, only the gate of the Holy World was left. Once they succeeded, they would be able to enter the Saint's world. Male Master, I hope you're here. Xiao Hei prayed silently. It had been a long time since she last saw Xiao Bai, and she missed her a little. Bailey Hongzhuang glanced at Xiao Hei, and a look of longing surfaced in her eyes. She had not seen Bei Chen for a long time. As everyone reached the halfway point of the mountain, Bailey Hongzhuang felt that the gravity on her body was getting heavier. With the physique of a cultivator, climbing over a mountain was not a problem at all. However, this mountain was clearly not an ordinary mountain. The higher one climbed, the greater the pressure. Oh my God, am I going to be crushed to death before I even get over this mountain? Yang Lingfeng had a bitter expression on his face, sweat constantly seeping out of his forehead.